Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next few hours, along with Mike.
And good morning to you. Good morning to you.
Right here in the studio.
In color.
Spence.
Living color.
Living color.
Good morning, Spence.
Supposed to dead.
Good morning.
And good morning, Nick.
Hey, how's it going?
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today is October 20th, 2013. And this morning's show is being brought to you by that VidBlaster guy, Tom Sinclair, and made possible by Bamboozer. Okay. Get that out of the way. Nick, are we going to... Nick wants me to get full frame on the full shot so we can capture it for the intro.
Yeah.
So I will, when as time goes on.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Spence, so where are you? You're in Nashville.
I'm in Asheville. Yes, sir.
You don't really like it there, do you?
Oh, no, I don't care a lot. It's, unfortunately, the leaves are delayed this year for some reason.
Bunch of weirdos.
This would be, yeah, it's an interesting town. It's a very interesting town.
Yeah, right.
Got some good restaurants, some great brew pubs.
Yeah.
And we're here for a wedding at an outdoor venue, which was just, well, it's outdoor and indoor. It's literally a horse farm that has a pavilion for weddings. And they had the ceremony outside and then moved inside for the reception where they could open big glass doors and let people flow in and out. It's really nice, very, very nice.
Chapel Hill West.
Pretty much. Well, I think Chapel Hill takes their cue from folks here, really. This is the original wacky colony.
Wacky West. Serve pine cones for appetizers.
Yeah.
He's saying Wacky West.
Yep.
Yeah, but here at least you see advertisements for gun shows where you would never see that at Chapel Hill.
Oh, I don't know. The Raleigh signals get into Chapel Hill.
No, but I mean billboards.
Andrew says that I told him if he moved to North Carolina that he would fit perfectly in Chapel Hill. I'm not sure that that's what I meant to say, Andrew. What I meant to say is that there's so many weirdos over there, you probably wouldn't stick out as much.
Mike, why do you hate Chapel Hill?
I don't hate Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill's beautiful. My wife was born in Chapel Hill.
So why do you dislike the people of Chapel Hill?
I bet 80% of the people there use Macs. Next question.
Literally, move on. Next story.
Chapel Hill.
Andrew, I don't think it was actually a compliment.
Yeah. Well, but you know how it goes.
But it wasn't an insult. It was just a fact. Fact.
Chapel Hill's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what happens. The wackos go in and take over all the beautiful places. I mean, San Francisco's a beautiful area. Oh, well.
Here you go.
So you were going to say, Spence? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, for give you an example, the Chapel Hill Town Council, because they were afraid that elephants could be abused, banned circuses from coming into the town.
They banned circuses.
They had banned circuses because they didn't want a venue where elephants could potentially be abused. So these are the kind of things they sit around and talk about and think about and pass legislation about in Chapel Hill.
Didn't they ban cars because small animals could get run over?
Oh, they banned talking on your cell phone in your car, like under no circumstances whatsoever.
That's the same thing in New York. That's a New York state law. You can't.
But I mean, they did it in the town, and it found out they couldn't enforce it because it was found to be. I don't know if it was found to be unconstitutional, but a appellate court overturned it, and it went on appeal. I think it's still on appeal. I don't know if it's actually. And people were saying that they didn't take into account that there are business people that actually use their cell phones when they drive around in their car. They have to use them like taxis and oh yeah, well, I didn't think about that. And other delivery services and people that relied on using their phones, and when they just passed a law out of hand. I mean, they mean well, but they just need to think a little more about the unintended consequences of what you do. So, but if you're a circus or an elephant, don't go near Chapel Hill.
I'll remember that.
Yep.
No.
So I saw the Surface 2 was introduced, or at least announced this week. Yes, sir. What?
No. Let me go. You guys go ahead. Carry on.
Carry on. Well, I noticed that the Surface 2 was announced, and that prices a bit lower. I think they had to come down. Improved processor, thinner, lighter, all that stuff with the second generation. But I wonder to see now how popular they become.
Now, looking at the price, it's still $450 for the Surface 2, and
$109 for the keyboard.
Yeah, and this is still run RT.
Well, is the Surface 2 an RT platform? Is it called the Pro?
Comes with touch-customized Office 13 RT. So
maybe the application is still the RT version.
It doesn't say anything.
It's RT. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about it.
Why would they do that?
The Surface 2 Pro, which is $900, doesn't run RT, but who the hell is going to spend $900 for Windows?
Now, that's interesting, because the Best Buy ad that I saw today highlighting this was very misleading.
Yeah,
Again, it said Surface 2 Pro starting at $449 or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's how they do it.
That's not true. Okay.
Interesting.
But I don't know what it is about Best Buy, but they seem to be making extremely complex web ads that are very hard to navigate and not friendly at all from my perspective. I was going through the ads this morning and tried it both on a laptop and on an iPad, and in both cases it was very difficult to navigate. They're trying to make it iPad friendly, where you could literally go and just swipe through the entire ad, never have to actually touch a forward or reverse button. And it would, as soon as you swipe to the next screen, it would go up and lock on the upper left-hand corner. But instead of being able to just swipe across and stay there, it would kind of travel around. So I guess they had help from the exchanges websites and how to design the website.
Same company.
Yeah, probably.
All right. This is an interesting. I never even know this happens. It's been a long time since many have seen the dreaded blue screen of death. When's the last time any of you saw the blue screen of death?
What, did they change the color?
No. But it's back, and in the most unlikeliest of places.
Yeah, I know this.
Oddly enough, some Apple iPhone 5S owners are reporting blue screen of death errors. Though they're a little different from the ones you may remember seeing on Windows desktop.
So it actually says Windows operating system has not updated.
Yeah, you got all these error codes and you dump the crash files and then
yeah.
Rather than spit out an obscure error code with a generic description, some iPhone 5S devices are suddenly turned blue before automatically restarting. The Numbers app in Apple's iWork suite, a free program with new iPhones, seems to be the primary cause. Though BSOD behavior has also been observed in other applications, according to complaints in Apple support forums. This is very interesting. It seems like Apple's will choose a different number. A different color.
They should have used pink. Screen. I saw one of these the other day at school, and one of my friends whose iPhone 5, when he plugs it into the computer to charge it, sometimes it will blue screen, and sometimes it won't. But if he plugs directly into the wall, it won't blue screen at all. It's a weird bug. Not sure what's causing that.
Yeah, but it's interesting that it's blue also. It's just like...
Yeah.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, everybody.
Oops, you're on the low side.
Sorry, I need to pick up the
Oh,
microphone.
yeah, there you
I've got
are.
the microphone holder here. Is that better now?
You're on the high side now.
No, you're okay.
I can't win, can I?
No.
Hello, everybody, peoples. It's
Good
nice
morning.
to see the people on camera. It's nice to hear the people that are chatting to, and the people that are typing into the chat room, which is computers2k now /live.
What are you trying to find out?
Dan was asking
I think it's on the very tip of the... Yeah.
what these are. They're here we go, Dan. MDR U10 by Sony. These he was asking what these earbuds are. They are MDR U10.
Can we see them?
I don't know. Can you?
Are these the ones that are designed like stenographers' headphones?
Yeah. They sound like crap.
Well, they serve their purpose.
They
Cheap,
you can hear what's
easy
going
to
on.
wear. Yep. I mean, I don't like wearing what I'm wearing right now, though. I just have headsets, but it's got excellent audio.
Yeah, talking about Logitech. Yesterday, I decided for my Hangout machine to change the cam because it always showed me like from a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
So I came in here and I found one of those Logitech bowls.
Mm-hmm.
One of the very first ones that
C600 or something like that.
500.
C500.
That's right, something 500. Yeah.
Okay.
So I put it on. Oh, sure enough, it looks pretty good. I'm sorry. I just realized that when they said, "Can we see them?" Nick was on, and I forgot to
Whoops.
switch.
Amnon's got so many monitors
I
and
know.
things going on here. I don't know what's going on here, but here they are. Which one's the program feed, Amnon? Upper left? Okay, so I now know where to look. This is what they are, the Sony MDR U10s. The one benefit of these, not unlike earbuds, the one benefit of these is that if you're in a room doing an interview with someone and you need to be able to talk across the room, these don't really interfere with the room coming in to the audio. It mixes the regular audio here with the room audio, which is a benefit. But if you have to pay over about $4 for these, I would reconsider.
These were
$19. Well,
I think it's because it says Sony.
well,
That's
probably.
probably the reason
Probably.
why.
They're actually very well made. They just, I don't know. They just
Oh.
are what they are.
But anyway, so I put that webcam on, and everything was working and nice. So later in the evening we hang out, and Nick says, "Amnon, you're not on the right microphone." And I'm tapping. Sure enough, nothing. So I'm figuring, it's coming from the webcam. So I go look, and sure enough, Windows was set up for the default to be on the webcam, but the Hangout was selected to be the microphone that I have there. But it's like something overrode it. So I changed it. Nothing. Still, no matter what I did, it stayed on that webcam. The only way that I figured out, the only way that I could solve it is by disabling the other devices. Never mind set it as default. Set it default did not do anything. But disabling the other ones and leaving that just the microphone, everything works.
Well, no,
Are
it
you
was
guys
just
not
distracting.
hearing this noise?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm here.
That Andrew's having a heart attack over it, so I'm working on it.
What noise?
There's a loud wind noise. It sounds like somebody's blowing the microphone.
Wait a
Breathing
second.
into-
Hold it a second.
It's gone now. Whatever Mike just did and muted it.
Now we have continuous noise, but that's gone. Okay.
Okay, that's because now it should be back, or
I don't hear it anymore now.
I hear like it keeps coming and going, but it's not the same.
Amnon took the windscreen off of this microphone, so he's getting wind noise.
Maybe close the window?
No, I also had a fan running, but it's going to get... I hear something.
All right, are we any better now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds a lot better now.
Okay.
Sounds like you're you're walking around the cabin of a plane occasionally.
Well, part of the problem, you're saying it's back now, Andrew?
Not like it was.
No, it's not the same noise.
Well, part of the noise, for anyone who's curious, we're going to mute Nick and Spence, because Spence has some background noise going on. You guys are muted at the moment. And so we're going to be quiet just a second and see what you can hear.
Ask Andrew.
All right, that's with the guys muted. Now I'm going to mute myself for a few seconds. Now I'm back. Now I'm going to mute Amnon and me. Now we're back.
We briefly had some 60-cycle hum. But I turned the air conditioner off here, so and I had muted myself, and I kept hearing it.
Well, until we can get a Mitsubishi split system air conditioner in here, we're going to have to go with less than optimum environmental circumstances.
No, it's better now.
Okay.
Either that or move to the Antarctic.
Yeah, then you got to run a heater.
Ah, that's true, yeah.
But it could be a resistance
The solution is to actually run a duct from the
That's easy for you to say.
To bring it all the way here.
From where? The Antarctic.
Okay. Antarctic.
I actually was reading this morning about these split air conditioner systems.
Yeah.
And there's some radio stations that are installing them in the control rooms. They are so quiet.
Yeah.
So
you can't hear them.
We'll eventually get one here. In fact, we'll start a tip jar so we can raise money to get an air conditioner.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
They are not. What? Figure about $1,800.
Well, no, not
and
that
about
much.
2045, you'll have enough money to.
No, I mean you can get the split ones. I mean, it doesn't have to be a Mitsubishi. There are other makes that are about $1,200.
Well, that's right. You can get it installed probably for nothing.
Yeah. Oh, are you talking about installed?
Well, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you can buy can buy a nice one for $900.
Yeah.
And I mean, you consider. I mean, since these are outside walls, these walls behind us are outside walls. He could have a perfect situation to go to the outside, and I believe they are heat and air conditioning. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so we'll spend some more of Amnon's money.
Yeah.
The key is to put the external unit a little bit away from where you are. If it's right outside you'll hear it. If it's right outside the window.
You know, I'm sitting here wearing these earbuds, and I don't have anything selected for audio. That's really stupid, isn't it?
Anything selected?
I don't have. Well, there's nothing coming through it. I turned off the audio.
It's just for looks.
Oh.
Just for appearance's sake.
Oh. And before you guys rush out and buy these, they are mono.
Yeah, they are mono.
They are mono, yes.
Yeah. They're not made for radio. They are for
transcribing.
Transcribing.
I do like that style. I've got a pair of Sony headphones that came with a mini disc Walkman that are identical to that as far as looks. Not white, but you know the style of them, and they're really, really good because, as you say, you can hear everything else that's going on. They don't block out all other sounds as well, which is very good.
Well, when you're monitoring on the air, it's good to be able to hear what you're doing, but the reality is the quality should be built into the system. You should have everything, all the bugs worked out so that you don't really have to monitor that closely. That's why when I use earbuds, when I do guest shots on other things, and I just wear earbuds because hopefully the quality is going to be right. You're at a little disadvantage that you can't really hear what you're doing, but that's just the way that cookie crumbles sometimes. I think I need to move my camera over a little bit, don't I?
If you move it, yeah, go ahead. If you move it, then we're going to see...
Oops.
See, that's why it's like this. I think
So I need to lean back.
Yeah, that's all right. You can move. There you go. See? There's
Okay.
more than one way to skin a cat.
Lean over to your left slightly.
A little more.
Clunk.
All right.
So you're not on your own today, then, Amnon. It must be nice to have company.
Yeah, he came in here and
Problem is he has to feed me when I come over.
Oh dear. Oh yeah, that's
And you had to put on pants.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
put
want to
clothes
talk
on.
about that. I know you're in Asheville, but I don't want to talk about it.
Mike, here is something that listen to those broadcasters.
Okay.
Aereo, AEREO provides live streaming.
Well, Andrew knows all about this.
He does?
Yeah, I believe they're out in New York. Anyway, go ahead.
So they provide live streaming and cloud-based DVR capability for over-the-air broadcasts to their paying customers. Broadcasters, terrestrial broadcasters, object to this functionality, with Fox claiming about Aereo, make no mistake, Aereo is stealing our broadcast signal. The focus appears to be ability of Aereo to provide streaming and DVR capabilities that traditional broadcasters have not delivered. The litigious broadcasters are fighting against Aereo's illegal disruption of their business model. See, they're not going here after copyright, after business model. I mean, we don't provide it. We can't provide it. We're not set up to provide it. They come here and they're doing it. So what are they fighting? The fact that they can, that Aereo can provide it, which makes no sense. This is like the automotive industry is complaining about that the dealers can park it in a nice place because they don't have anywhere to park it. Over there, it's all in outside parking lots. I mean, it's
semantics.
It's added value. I mean, you know.
What they're complaining about predominantly at the end of the day is that they've tied up the law in respect of broadcasting and copyright and all the other malarkey that goes along with it in such an intricate and complicated way. What they're bitching about now is the fact that Aereo has found, by putting up an antenna for each individual user, they found the loophole that they didn't spot in the law in order to make sure that they are legal. So they've, in some way, they've managed to get around all the legal stipulations and say, well, actually, if we do it this way, it's really complicated and it's a complete pain in the neck to do, but it's the only way we can do it legally, and they're annoyed because they didn't see this little aspect that they missed, and they're now taking advantage of that. If the law wasn't so complicated and stupidly written, people would just be able to go out there and innovate.
Well,
that's why they're bitching, because they didn't see this little, loophole that they've managed to plug. Well, they will be plugging it once they've changed the law and bribed whoever's necessary to fix the law in that respect.
Steve.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. Sorry, did I say bribed? I do apologise. Campaigned.
Persuade.
Sorry. Campaigned.
Convince.
Yes, persuaded. That's the words. All of them and some.
Spence, when do you have to leave?
By 10.
I didn't talk for that long, did I?
He's eating.
No. Spence.
He said
By
10.
10 o'clock.
Oh, in here.
Well, you need to listen more carefully, Amnon.
So, do you want to do the specials now?
I can. I'm prepared to. I'm happy to.
All right.
It's in my contract. All right. Let me get my piece of paper ready here. Okay. Starting with Best Buy. If you're waiting to buy an iPhone, now's your chance, because they've increased the gift card amount to $99. So if you want to buy a 5C, you can get it for $1. If you want to buy a 5S, you can get it for $99. They've got a Asus 15.6-inch laptop. This is their entry-level laptop on sale this week, $24.99. They've got a Gateway AMD E1 desktop. This is a clearance item, $269.99. This is the PC only, no monitor. They've got an Asus A10 desktop. This is the higher-end AMD processor, $499.99. That's $30 off. They've got an HP 20-inch LED monitor for $89. That's $30 off. A Lenovo 21.5 LED IPS monitor for $129.99. That's also $30 off. They have UPS flash drives on sale. USB 3.0 32 gig for $29.99, save $30. USB 2.0 drives, 8 gig for $6.99, 6 gig for $9.99, 16 gig for $9.99, 32 gig for $19.99. They've got the Time Warner supported Motorola Surfboard DOCSIS 3 cable modem for $89.99, save $10. They've got a Dynex wireless keyboard and mouse combo for $19.99, save $20. And they've got a Logitech MK50 520, I should say, keyboard and mouse combo. This is the high-end Logitech, $39.99, save $20. That's all at Best Buy. At Office Depot, they've got the HP Slate 7-inch 8-gig tablet for $139.99. That's $30 off. They've got the Asus 7-inch 16-gig tablet for $149.99. Now, the advantage of this is the HP Slate and the Samsung Galaxy Tab 3, which I'll mention in a second, are both Android 4.1. The Asus 7 16-gig for $149 is Android 4.2. Samsung Galaxy Tab 3 8-gig, $179.99, save $20. They've got a 15.6-inch Toshiba Win8 laptop, $269.99, save $110. They've got an HP OfficeJet 6100 wireless inkjet printer for $69.99, save $30. Brother Mono laser printer copier scanner with wired networking and two-sided duplex printing for $129.99, save $80. A Canon Pixma wireless printer scanner fax copier inkjet printer for $79.99, save $20. They've got a 11.6-inch HP Pavilion touchscreen laptop, $349.99, save $100. And if you are in the market for an extra universal laptop charger, I know, Mike, you're not. You've got a whole drawer full of them. 90-watt Targus charger, $39.99. That's $20 off. They've got all Western Digital external hard drives on clearance. And they've also got a D-Link wireless cloud router for $24.99. That's $5 off the regular price. That's all at Office Depot. At Office Max, HP 15.6-inch i3 laptop, $399. That's $180 off the regular price. Acer 11.6-inch AMD A4 touchscreen laptop, $379.99, save $100. They've got a 32 gig flash drive for $24.99, save $27. They've got an Epson V550 photo scanner, $179.99, save $20. They have monitors on sale, 22-inch LED monitor for $109, save $20. A 24-inch monitor for $159, save $20. A 1 terabyte Western Digital portable USB hard drive for $69.99, save $10. I just installed one of these this week for a small local business actually set it up as a time machine backup drive for a Mac. Very nice little piece of hardware, great price. 2 terabyte version for $109.99, save $10. Toshiba 3 terabyte USB hard drive. This is a desktop drive, $119.99, save $20. Logitech MK320 wireless keyboard and mouse for $29.99, save $10. They have the Logitech R400 wireless presenter. Now, this is a little wireless device that you would use if you were standing up for a group of people and wanted to control your laptop. A little easier than having a wireless mouse. You can do it with a wireless mouse, but this is actually has a hat switch that lets you switch back and forth between slides, and also has some extensions that you can load onto the laptop itself. This is $39.99, $10 off. And they've also got an extra 20% off on all clearance printers. That's an Office Max. At Staples, they've got a Kingston 16 gig USB flash drive for $9.99, save 10. They've got a 32 gig drive for $19.99, save 20. They've got a Lenovo 15.6 inch i5 touchscreen laptop for $5.99. That's $100 off. They also have a 21.5 inch LED monitor for $109.99. That's $40 off the regular price. This is probably the best LED monitor deal of the day. A 23 inch LED monitor, $129.99, save $40. Lenovo A4 desktop computer, no monitor included, $2299.99, save $100. Logitech K310 washable keyboard. All right, all you slobs out, this is a great deal. $19.99, save $20. Samsung wireless mono laser for $79.99, save $80. And Seagate USB desktop hard drive, 2 terabytes for $99.99, 3 terabytes for $129.99, 4 terabytes for $179.99. That's actually, you could probably take the drive out of that. It'll be a good deal, cheaper than buying an actual drive. That's all at Staples. Finally, at Tiger Direct, we've got a Samsung 120 gig solid state drive for $129.99. I was actually looking at upgrading someone's Mac Air because they have the mic, what is it, like 120 gig, it's a weird number. Not exactly sure, but the solid state drive on that, we're maxing it out. And the prices of solid state drives just exponentially go up. That sounds reasonable. Oh, $129 for 120 gig drive. Well, like the 240 gig drive is 3 something. So the prices increase dramatically as you go up. 14 inch Asus notebook computer, $279.99. 8 gig flash in 3 different versions: SD, micro SD, and USB, $499. They've got a 24 inch Asus LED monitor for $139 with after mailing rebate. A 20 inch LED monitor for $89.99, and a 23 inch for $149.99. That's also frameless. It's a new model, so I wonder if that would be an interesting looking monitor. If you wanted to build a video wall, there you go. 1 terabyte Western Digital portable hard drive. This is pretty standard price today, $69.99. DDR3 notebook memory, 4 gig for $39.99, 8 gig for $69.99. We've got Western Digital Red network attached storage hard drive. Now, I don't know if this is just a rebranding of the green drive. I would assume that it's a higher quality. Correct me if I'm wrong. 2 terabyte drive for $109.99. Seagate 3 terabyte internal hard drive, 3.5 inch drive for $109.99. And finally, they've got a 1000 VA APC UPS battery backup for $99.99. And that's at Tiger Direct. And that's it for today. And I didn't even touch a piece of paper except to write it down. Everything was done online because I have no access to a newspaper here, but it actually worked pretty easily.
Wow, you saved trees.
I did. Well, they still delivered the paper to my house. I just wasn't there to read it.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
Well, we have expedited the recycling process because when they bring the papers and throw them in our driveway, we pick them up and drop them straight into the trash can whenever we get it down to the street.
Yeah, pretty much that for me too. I pick out the ads and the rest just goes in a pile and waiting for recycling.
It's hard to believe they're even still printing the darn things.
You don't read the newspaper?
No. Do you?
Did you see him reading the paper? I mean, I just saw him reading the paper.
Look
at this. Look.
I scanned the business section, actually.
No, so we old guys are sitting here paperless, and Nick is reading the newspaper. What's wrong with this picture?
It's a conundrum.
He's reading classifieds. I'm sorry.
Ugh.
Sorry.
So my question is, why are you subscribed to the paper if you're not reading it?
Oh, I don't. They have to give it away here to try to get you to subscribe. So they'll periodically throw this trash in your driveway. You have to go out there and pick it up. It's usually wet and all that by the time you get to it. And I've actually thought about charging them with littering my yard, throwing that crap in my yard.
Every once in a while, I need newspaper for a paint project, so I can lay it out so I don't get paint on the ground, or the birdcage be relined, that kind of stuff. So it's a free service delivering useful paper for masking, things like that.
We subscribe to it.
Why?
Sunday.
Oh, yeah, why?
Yeah,
because Kathy wants all the ads,
the coupons,
and stuff.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Well, but did you know now that most of these coupons you can put them on your apps? You can put them on your phone.
She's learning.
Yeah, and it's not just that it's more convenient, but you actually get more specials because they don't have to limit themselves to the ones that they can have printed in the paper.
That's true, because it doesn't cost them.
They're more dynamic, and moreover, as I understand it, if it continues the way I see it working, they actually can customize the specials to your buying habits.
Well, I don't know that I want them to do that.
Oh, I would.
I want to know about other stuff, too. I don't want them to tell me what...
I don't think you're ever denied access to anything, but, I mean, if you typically buy ramen noodles, not that anyone would, but if you do buy that, then when they run them on special, they make sure you get that coupon.
They've got to use the data that the NSA is collecting from everybody somehow.
Well, actually, the NSA probably is going to get into the couponing business so they can generate additional revenue. Based on your posts and your surfing habits, emails, and telephone calls, we realize that you particularly like to visit Chatterbait.
And there's a special this week on rice.
Yes.
Rice is good for you. Please eat it.
I eat ramen noodles.
Why? I thought you only ate hamburgers.
I like ramen noodles. They're good.
Dan says, or analog rules.
Hey, ramen is a really good survival food.
So is peanut butter.
Store it forever as long as you have a source of clean water, and it's good high-fat content, high protein. So if you're ever in the bunker there and you need food, ramen's the way to go.
Well, you could sustain yourself indefinitely on peanut butter and milk.
How are you going to keep that milk good?
You keep the cow fed.
Oh.
That's it.
But I'm just the cow dies.
Too.
You do know that milk comes from cows, don't you, Nick?
No, I thought it just
from a carton.
Comes from plastic jugs.
Yeah, you thought it came from Kroger, right?
They mixed it in the back to use paint and water and flavoring.
Wait, hold on. How can you keep the cow fed if you can't keep yourself fed?
Cows eat grass. As long as you have grass grows naturally. Oh, you probably didn't realize that either. You thought the guys have to come out and plant it and fertilize it and water it, and then you have to mow it?
Yeah, it looks like you roll it out in strips. Looks like a paper roll.
I see.
Yeah. Will a cow survive on AstroTurf?
Presidents do. I don't know why a cow can't.
Okay. Google announced an upcoming change to its terms of service that will let the company add users' names and photos to certain parts of its advertising as of November 11th. Make no mistake, this is a direct attack against Facebook. One of the few advantages of Google Plus is that it features no ads. To be perfectly clear, Google isn't changing that. Google Plus will still have a clean interface, at least for the foreseeable future. Instead, Google is trying Google Plus in tying Google Plus into yet another one of its properties, and arguably its most important one, Google Ads. And the title of that article was, "Your picture may end up in a." It means that your picture could end up in an ad, even though you have nothing to do with that. Just the fact that it's there.
Why is this such a big deal, though?
I don't know. It's people that are into super tight privacy may...
Then don't use a free service. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Right, but you have to understand, Nick, these things have evolved over time. People were induced to start with Yahoo Mail, to start with Gmail and all, and now these things are changing, and what they originally signed up for is not what they anticipated. That's not saying that Google doesn't have the right to do what they're doing, but what it says is that if these changes concern you, then you need to be aware of what's going on and take action accordingly. People cancel their Facebook accounts every day.
Yeah. People still have Facebook accounts?
They do.
Wow.
Steve posted this article about what ramen noodles do inside your stomach. Well, let me tell you that if you get a letter from the IRS, it'll flush every bit of that out of there.
Yeah, I got a letter from the IRS. It wasn't a good letter, but at least it wasn't a
bad letter.
An audit. But it turns out that there was a mistake made on a prior tax return where I owed them money. Not my mistake, unfortunately, but
sent my daughter a letter.
Fortunately, but
they sent my daughter a letter, and they owed her money.
She's getting my money now. Is that fair?
Well, I'll tell you, in you start measuring life on that basis, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
It's good, though, isn't it? When they make a mistake, they can take months and months and months to pay you back. And when you make a mistake, they want by the end of the week.
Yep.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it was interesting during our government shutdown that they didn't stop collecting revenues. They just stopped giving them back out again.
Yeah, my life has not come to an end because of the government shutdown. I don't know about you guys.
Mine didn't.
Okay. Well, maybe there's time.
It's a good time.
During the special, Mike and me were talking here about feeding the Wirecast machine, and I said that I'm doing it with. Mike told me that I was doing it in stereo, and I said, "Well, you told me to do that." He said that was the right way to do. I need to talk about that.
I had an interesting. I was telling Andrew yesterday that I'm going to probably write a blog post. Let me back up. One of my latest interests, rekindled interests, is woodworking. I don't want to become. I'd love to be, but I don't have the space or the expertise to become a furniture maker. But I really love how to do wooden projects, get little things done around the house if it's at all possible. And while I was watching and learning how to do woodworking, I became aware of a program called. What are you doing, Amnon?
I think you look better this way.
Okay. Oh, we still see the green all the way in.
The what?
We still see the green.
That's all.
Okay. I became aware of a program called SketchUp. It's a fabulous, fabulous program for creating 3D drawings of projects that you want to create. And like any complex software, it's difficult to get started. I started learning how to use it by watching this guy, I can't remember his name, on YouTube. And what he did was he took each menu item on the SketchUp menu and broke, each one was its own video. If you wanted to know how to use the tape measure tool, you watch his 3-minute video on how to use tape measure. The format I really liked, and so what I've decided that I'm going to do is if I create any videos, which I'm thinking about doing in conjunction with some blog posts, maybe it'll just be pictures, but each one will be about a very short topic. I think people's attention span is very short. If they can go to a particular video and find just what they want, maybe it'll be more beneficial. Don't know. What I'm getting to is that the blog post that I'm writing on is how to connect your computer to your mixer. Now that sounds simple. You'd think it would be trivial. How to connect the sound card on your computer to the aux send, for example, on your mixer. The reason it can be complicated is because, for example, if you're using an aux send for Skype on the computer, Skype only looks at the left channel. If you send a stereo signal to Skype, it will only pick up the left channel. You should always send a mono signal. If you're sending a mono signal and it only picks up the left channel, why should you send anything at all to the right channel? And originally I said, why do that? Well, I've actually the blog post is about making cables. I just bought a bunch of cables and connectors and things. I'm going to show how to make the perfect cable to interconnect a computer with the mixer. What I'm getting to is yesterday I like to watch a podcast, or listen to actually a podcast that Dave Jackson at schoolofpodcasting.com does. He does it at 11 o'clock on Saturday mornings, an hour after we get through with Rick's house. He talks about various things, such as ways to call into the podcast, different sorts of technical things. I really like that. He tried to do it yesterday, and Spreaker was down. He couldn't get Spreaker to work. It's typically about a 30-minute podcast. He has some regulars on there that they talk about various technical aspects. So he couldn't get Spreaker to work. They then immediately flipped over and went to a Google Hangout. Once I found out where he was, he saw that I was listening. He sent me an invitation to join the Hangout, which I did. But right before I joined, he and his co-host started playing with what is the high-quality mode that for the Hangout? It's called Studio?
Yeah, Studio mode.
Okay. And what that means is that whenever you click on that studio mode button while you're in the Hangout, your audio becomes much better than it was before the studio mode. The interesting part about studio mode in Google Hangouts is that it is stereo. What I'm getting to is, since I was feeding my aux send to that Google computer using only the left channel, whenever I went into the studio mode, they were only hearing me out of the left channel. What that means is, even though that computer is wired for normal operation and works perfectly for its intended purpose, as soon as something new comes along that was not anticipated, the computer was really not properly designed to handle changes for the future. What I'm getting to is that cable from the auxiliary send to the input on the computer should have had the audio feeding the left and the right channels, even though the right channel is not used, because that future-proofs the installation. And in fact, the blog article will say that you should do that, and it will show how to make a cable that does just that. You can't, to my knowledge, buy a cable that will do that for you. You have to either use an adapter or make the cable. I'm not aware of a single place that you can buy HOSA, nor any of the others that I'm aware of, makes a cable that will do that. Actually, that's not true. There actually is a cable that may do it. I think the HOSA CMP 105 may do it. It's not a very well-known cable, and if that's the right one, then I will recommend that, if it's the right length and so forth. So there's that. I look less moldy now. Thanks, Steve.
Less moldy.
Yeah, you were looking a little peaked around the edges there.
Well, I think I really do. It's been a long week.
Where did Nick go? Did he go to try and help?
I tell you, speaking of long weeks, I am busier now in my so-called semi-retirement than I was before I was fired, if you can call it retired. I've been going. What the difference was, when I worked at home, I could float on up to my office at 7:45 and fire everything up, and 8 o'clock I was online and be done by the end of the day, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I'd shut things down. And but now that I'm doing stuff outside the home and I have to actually travel to get to work again, and that jobs can be in different places, man, I tell you, I didn't appreciate how nice it was to work at home.
Tell people what you do.
Well, I do. I work actually two gigs right currently now. I'm doing working for a local handyman service, which is a lot of fun. It's a friend of mine who runs a business called, cleverly enough, MC Hammer. His name is Mike Callis. His initials are MC, so the name of his company is MC Hammer. And he has connections to real estate agents and to other businesses and through different local organizations to do home improvements. And so I work for him, and we do anything related to getting a house ready to sell, punch lists, things like that, repairs, replace windowsills, for example, replace light fixtures. But that's just, I enjoy it. I really like doing it. And the other job I'm doing is working for a friend who has a small office that they share with different CPAs and financial planners, and working for them as kind of an IT consultant. But I'm busier now than I was when I was actually working.
Does that mean that we have to feel sorry for you?
Oh yeah, that's the whole point of this, is to feel sorry for me.
You need a hug?
Absolutely not. I tell you, I'm glad I'm doing it. I just, you could, that whole thing about, do what you like,
and the money will
come
follow
later.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crap.
well, the money hasn't come yet.
Yeah.
But it's still, I think about it, I'm doing pretty darn good for part-time work.
Yeah.
So the fact that I can get out
So
there.
what you're saying then is your full-time job that you used to do against what you're doing now with a sort of handyman type thing is you just can't touch this.
Can't touch this.
Yep. Well, it's rewarding and have fun, and I can take some time to do other things if I have. It's been hard to take time to do my own stuff just because there's so much work. It's hard to think that.
And you start earlier in the day, right?
Oh yeah. Yep, because I have to leave the house depending on what I'm doing. And sometimes your jobs will start at 8 o'clock, and I have to drive there. It's 45 minutes with the traffic in the morning. So it's, yep. Plus, I've learned some things and bought some cool tools, and that's what it's all about, is tools.
Love tools.
What's that?
Love tools.
Oh, I love tools. I love tools.
Power tools.
Old ones and new ones.
Oh,
I have some
yeah.
really old
Although,
tools that I still use.
I don't think I said it to you, Spencer, but I saw a video this past week. Apparently it's very popular. The video has to do with a guy who intentionally caused a table saw to kick back a board. And if it doesn't scare the heck out of you, then you're not paying attention. I'll try to find it and see if I can post it in chat. But if you do any woodworking at all, you ought to watch this video. I will tell you, I'll go ahead and tell you, the guy doesn't get hurt, but when you watch closely and see how closely he came to a serious injury just by very carefully demonstrating the process, it'll definitely change the way you view a table saw.
Is that the one that stops when...
No, the saw stop is the saw that theoretically keeps you from cutting your finger off.
Right.
That's a $3,300 table saw.
Oh.
That's the one that's got that special sensor. The guy demonstrates it by using a hot dog.
Yeah, there's one on there where he demonstrates it by using his finger.
Yes. Yeah, after he has more. I remember in the beginning, I saw the video of that when they were doing the prototypes. And then when they finally perfected it, he actually uses his finger.
Yes.
Yep. One of my very first full-time jobs when I was in school, after high school, before I went back to college, was working in a machine shop, and I had some potentially life-threatening events happen that taught me a lot about power tools. Where I don't know if I've been killed, but I've been seriously injured. For example, drilling into something and not letting the chips out. When you're drilling into metal especially, it can happen with wood too. With a drill press, you go down, and it's very easy to put a lot of force into the drill. So I'm drilling down into this big chunk of aluminum, and after I was doing probably 150 of these things, just repetitive work. I'm drilling down, and each time I drill down, I do a little bit more without letting the drill come up to release the chips. So it got to the point where I went too far, and this was in a piece of aluminum was in a cast iron U-shaped jig to hold it in place. It weighed about, probably 10 or 12 pounds. Well, this thing started to spin on the drill. And then finally the drill broke. And this thing, from flying across 30 feet across the room, and hit the cinder block wall, took a chunk out of the wall. And had it gone just 90 degrees different into my chest, who knows what it would have done to me. So that taught me something which I will never forget.
I hope I can find this post. Actually, I think I just found it. I'll post it in
Human flesh
chat.
is extremely soft in comparison to most other materials.
How many people have? I mean, among us, anybody uses D-Link router?
I don't.
I do.
No.
It turns out that just by setting a browser's user agent to, and there's a key here, anyone can remotely bypass all authentication on D-Link routers. It seems that THTTPD was modified by Alpha Networks, who inserted the backdoor. Unfortunately, vulnerable routers can be easily identified by services like Shodan HQ, SHODAN HQ. At least these models may have vulnerable firmware. DIR 100, DI 524, DI 524 UP, DI 604S, DI 604 UP, and DI 604 Plus, and then TMG 5240. So there are
not the 615.
615 is not in here.
Oh, good. That's the one I have.
Well, I mean, at least these models have. So others could have it.
Yep.
So don't relax just because of that.
No, actually, the main one I use is a TP-Link, but I put a 615 back into service as an auxiliary access.
So, but that's really bad. I mean, that means that the back door was put there on purpose.
Wow. Well, with that, I need to take off now. It's time to drive.
Can we
back
see
home.
you do that?
See me do what? Take off?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will hover briefly.
You're going to flap your arms furiously, are you?
do a David Blaine thing here, but I'm going to show you my feet going off the ground.
So where are you going?
Back home.
Oh, you're leaving now.
Heading home. Yep.
Okay.
Heading home. So I'll try to listen for a bit in the car.
All right.
Have a good week, everybody.
See you later.
Thanks. See you later.
Bye.
You too, Spence. Thanks. Bye.
Dan says his neighbor just whacked 2 fingers with table router. Well, that's really scary because hopefully a router is one of the more safe tools that you can use. I guess you can be careless with anything. Anyway, I posted this YouTube video in there of a guy demonstrating the way not to use a table saw. And I will have to tell you, I'm thinking that my table saw doesn't have the ability to that I can tell to add a riving knife. And without one, you're crazy to use a table saw, in my opinion. Anyway, we're not doing woodworking now. But if that'll save your fingers, it's worth it.
Yeah. Let me just fix it real quick, and we're back.
And Dan was asking, to finish up what I was saying a moment ago about those cables, Dan was asking about how the cables are wired. And the way they are wired is the tip and the ring are shorted together so that the audio from the aux end is fed to the left and the right channels on the computer's input jack. And there is a cable, that HOSA, and I posted a link to it. The HOSA CMP 105 will do exactly that. That's not the cable I was thinking about that's not available. And I won't go into this, but just to go ahead and say it, the cable that is not available is using the output from the speaker to the mixer. If you're going to only use mono return from your computer, that is, if you're only using it for Skype, you don't need to waste a stereo channel or a stereo cable on it. You only need the left channel coming back from the computer. And if you use this CMP 105 cable to do it, you're actually going to short the left and right speakers together in the computer. Most computers, that won't be a problem. Some of them, it will distort the audio, and some of them, it may even blow the output amplifiers in the audio card. So I will be showing a way of getting around that problem by making your own cable. The way we do it here, Amnon, as you recall, is we have some stereo cables coming from computers going to the mixer, and we leave one of the two channels not plugged in.
Right.
All right. We're going to get away from that and go with the proper cable so that you don't have to have these extra
there's
connectors.
A bunch of them that are hanging, see?
Yeah, I don't think you can't see them, but
yeah.
And that's unnecessary.
So, Mike, maybe on this, when you do these videos, maybe you could use Amnon Studio as the test dummy for it.
He doesn't want to. He wants to do HD.
He doesn't have any HD cameras here.
Well, you wouldn't. Yeah, but you wouldn't be using his cameras to do it, would you?
How else would I do it?
Well, and I mean, I thought you would just be doing it. You show.
Tell you what you could do. You could just get cam.
Well, I tried to buy one from Vance, and he won't sell it to me.
You don't have any HD cameras?
I do not. Now, I said that I did borrow one, the little tiny, what is it called, a flip camera?
Yeah,
Flip HD.
Which does amazing video for what it is. It's
That-
amazing. And I even have a Kodak ZI-8, but I can't find it.
So what's wrong with the flip?
Well, it's not mine, and I just got it back. I borrowed it and then had to give it back, and then I've gotten it back now. And I mean, if I could, I don't even think they make them anymore. But I would probably just buy one. Vance goes through equipment about like most people. Never mind. But he had one he thought about selling, and I told him I would like to buy it from him, and I think he decided to hold on to it. I'm not paying $2,500 for a camcorder.
Yeah, but you don't need to. That's the thing. You don't need to. You can get a good HD camcorder for less than $300.
What would you suggest?
Any of the lower end Canon cameras.
Because and that gets into what you need. I don't need it for clean HDMI, but why buy one that doesn't have that?
There you go.
It would be nice to have one with external microphone input, but does it really matter?
Well, I think it does, yeah. If you're just going to buy a camera to do just record a video once, that's kind of stupid. But if you're going to buy it so that maybe you want to hook it up to maybe you want to get an HDMI capture card and hook it up to your computer, or want to go out and record something separately, you can. It seems stupid to buy a camera for one purpose and then say, well, I need now I need one with an external mic input, and now I have to go out and spend $500 to get a new one.
I tend to overbuy when I buy that stuff.
Well, there's no reason to overbuy.
Well, if I were to buy what is the Canon something A10?
Well, I'm going to take a look right now and see.
XA10? Yeah. Whenever my kids were born, I went out and bought nice video cameras and so forth. I mean, I don't even know if the tapes will play anymore. I'm going to end up probably spending thousands of dollars getting people to try to get the tapes to play.
The Canon Vixia HF R400 has a microphone in, AV out, HDMI out. And it's $269.
Yes, but that's not Prime. They charge me for shipping.
Yeah, it's Prime.
Oh, I'm not logged in. Never mind. I don't know my password.
And I believe this records to SD card, and it might have internal storage as well.
I don't know my Amazon password. Well.
But it could definitely be done.
You know, strangely enough, even though I've been doing quote-unquote media literally for 50 years, I'm still not comfortable going on camera producing instructional videos.
Why is that?
Because I haven't done it. Not that I can't do it, and I'm not afraid of it. I'm just not comfortable doing it. I have done it. In fact, one of the things that probably is going to happen if I do these videos, part of it is that to do a really good recorded video takes a lot of preparation. You need to have shots set up. Case in point, I've been over to, there's a show on public TV here called The Woodwright Shop with Roy Underhill. That show is produced, it's nationwide on public television, government TV, and it's produced here at Research Triangle Park at the UNC TV studios. I've been over there during production of the show. I know the people who produce the show. It's an interesting thing to observe. A lot of preparation goes into that show. I mean, they'll spend hours setting up camera shots so that whenever they say, all right, now we're going to show how to cut this mortise using a chisel, boom, you have this little camera that zooms in exactly on the right shot. Some of these shots took 10, 15 minutes to get set up with a stationary camera that you never see, that's only used for that shot for 1 minute.
Yeah, but you know what, Mike? You don't start with that. I mean, you look at some of these tutorials on YouTube.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, but
I don't want to do garbage.
You don't have to do garbage, but you don't need to go out and have 15 cameras set up.
No, I don't, and I don't mean that.
You could easily do these tutorials with one shot. You just have to cut and move the camera, or do whatever you have to do to get the shot. But I don't think that you. I mean, how would you replicate the quality of a TV show that's nationwide to upload?
And I'm not deluding myself with that either. I'm not trying to do that. What I am saying is that if I do videos and by the way, I did some research this weekend on soldering. I posted some links to you guys this week. If you go to YouTube and search on soldering, how to make connectors, the ones on how to do solderless connectors are getting the most hits, primarily because people are scared of soldering. And they don't need to be. I mean, there's a trick to it, but bottom line, I'm going to probably do my videos on how to solder these connectors, show the way I do it, which I learned this week is not necessarily the best way, but it's been working for me for a long time. And what I'm saying is that I've seen these videos, particularly these woodworking videos, where the guys are extraordinary woodworkers, but they're terrible camera guys. All right, I'm going to show you this, and then all of a sudden you get seasick while they try to reposition the camera on the tripod so that you can watch them make this one cut. I don't want to do that. I mean, I'm not trying to get network quality, but I definitely want it to be useful and succinct. Having said that, of course, my latest objective is to record what's called the B-roll, which I don't know what B stands for. What that means is you go out and you record the raw footage, and then you send it to Nick and let him make it into something useful.
Well, then that's another option as well. Don't do the camera switching there. Just
we use one camera. If you only have one camera, there's not going to be any switching. I do not have a place set up to do the kind of over your shoulder, watch me do this sort of thing. I don't have it set up. I'd have to set it. I may, but I will probably set up, for starters, just to play with it, set up this small flip camera on a tripod, point it at the work, and show what I'm doing here. And the way, I think, to be able to get the content without a bunch of uhs and, oh, wait a minute, that didn't work. Well, let me try that again. The way to get around that is to fly in certain, for example, I'm using the Neutrik Rheon NYS 228 connector. And then if you screw it up and need a break there, then you fly in a picture of the connector, which serves as a natural break. It looks intentional. So we'll get into all that.
I definitely think it can be done, and there's no reason to go out there and spend all this money to get all these different cameras when you could simply just do it with one.
Well, I'll just engage Craig Digital's designs for that purpose. How about that?
I don't have any cameras, I'm sorry.
No, you're going to edit the B-roll. In fact, I even thought about sending it to you on Skype and letting you record it.
I wouldn't go that far.
Gene wants help on troubleshooting. He says, what can cause interim drops in internet connections on a system directly wired with an Ethernet cable to a Netgear N300 wireless router?
Your ISP?
Yeah, when you say drops, Gene, is it dropping the wireless side? Is the router disconnecting from the modem? Where is the disconnection? Because I'll wait for you to answer the question. If the disconnect is on the wireless, that's different than if the disconnect is on the wired side. Is the noise gone, Andrew? Not on the wireless side. It could be any of the above. It could be, as you're getting in chat, it could be a bad cable, a bad router, a bad modem. In my experience, when I was having that problem, it turned out that, and I have Time Warner cable at home. It turned out to be problems with Time Warner cable. They've been in my house no less than 10 times, chasing problems, and eventually they found bad connectors. They found a pinch in the coaxial cable. They've had multiple bad routers. One of the things, not routers, modem. And what I finally did after I stayed on them to make sure, and you can do ping tests and speed tests and things to sort of find out where the issue is. But one of the things I finally did was I went out and bought my own Motorola SB. No, what is it? Help me, Amnon.
I got it. 6141.
SB 6141 or 40 or 41. I forget which one it is. I bought my own modem, which did improve the ping rate and response a little bit. The Ubi router modems that Time Warner supplies for DOCSIS 3.0, in my opinion, are garbage. They're also charging you for them. So what I did was got my own modem and hooked that up and spent an act of Congress to get them to connect it, and then it started working. You said it reconnects okay when you reboot the router. I
have to reboot my router once a week.
I knock on wood, I never have to reboot mine.
I do it.
And I have the Netgear as well. I have the N300, probably have about the same one. And
that's what I have.
But I got to tell you, I replace my router about every 2 years.
Yeah, I'm at that point right now. I need to go replace them.
I fill them back. I refill them.
What do you mean you with
internet. What do you mean with what?
Yeah, and Brent is right. Check to make sure you have the latest firmware, because there have been instances of the routers not doing what they're supposed to do, particularly the earlier versions. So you absolutely need to make sure that you're at the latest firmware. And of course, Netgear makes it really easy for you to do that. You log into the web interface on the router, tell it to check for new firmware. It will tell you immediately if new firmware is available. It's certainly not difficult to update it.
Oh, that's right. Here, Andrew was saying that's what I refill them with IPs.
You shouldn't be peeing on your router, Amnon. But check the firmware. But the other thing you need to do, Gene, is whenever it drops, you need to start doing some pinging from a computer to find out if, when it drops, can you still ping your router? And also, as I recall, I haven't tried this in a while, but assuming, can't you ping the modem by going to 192.168.100.1? I'm going to try it here. It seems to me like you can. You can try to ping and determine where the break is. Ping 192.168.100.1. And it's not pingable here, but I don't know what setup Amnon has. But on who
are you trying to ping?
Am I on Time Warner or am I on the T1?
I have no idea. How is it slow or is it fast?
I don't know. I'm just doing chat.
Yeah. I mean, you should be able to ping it from either.
Let's see. Default gateway here. All right.
Is what?
.0.1.
So you're on Time Warner.
On some systems, you can try this at home. Try to ping 192.168.100.1. That's unusual, but try to ping .100.1. And if you get a response back, that's coming from your router. That used to work before DOCSIS 3.0. DOCSIS 3.0 may or may not work. It depends on, I guess it may depend on the router, and you may have ping turned off on the router because you have your own router now.
Maybe.
Maybe Jason can straighten me out. But so Gene, the answer to your question is you may be stuck with, and you're getting some good suggestions in chat. But when I had that situation, I went, the first thing I got was a new router. And I did not like having to spend the money, but what I found is that the wireless, it seems like every year, if you get a new wireless router, your wireless coverage improves dramatically. I do think that there are some significant improvements in the wireless circuitry and routers on a year-by-year basis. After I've purchased a new router to date, I have never been disappointed that I spent the money to get a new router, because each time there was at least some level of improvement in the performance of the wireless side, so that might be worth trying. So if you try it again in the wireless and the router, if it still disconnects, then of course first thing you need to do is get a new cable if you've got a bad cable. The second thing is to either get a new modem or a new router, because you're at the point in the process of elimination to try to determine where it is. If you're not ready to do either of those yet, then you certainly could spend some time doing some pinging, finding out where it's going down, when it goes down. By the way, Gene, you might want to play with this first. There is a program out there that I use and that I like called Ping Plotter at pingplotter.com. There is a free 30-day trial. You might want to download that and pick an IP address, doesn't matter, one that will respond to ping. But set it to update once per second instead. It comes like once every 10 or 15 minutes. Set it to update once per second. Then if it goes down, it will actually let you see where the hop is that's going down. If it's going down at your router, you've got a bad router. If it's going down at the modem, you probably have a bad modem. If it's going down between the modem and the first hop, then it's a Time Warner problem. You have to learn how to read it a little bit, and it's not the best one out there, I'm sure, but it does work. That might be worth looking into.
Yesterday I was asking Nick a question and he laughed. Well, were you going to say something, Nick?
Oh, the other thing you could try is try connecting the computer via wireless, trying to determine if maybe there's an issue with the Ethernet output or whatever it could be. So
Ethernet card.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even on the computer side, there could be an issue too. So if you have the option to try wireless, I'd give that a try too.
You have to do, or if you have wireless devices connected, when the computer goes down, do the wireless devices go down as well?
Yeah.
You just have to do the process of elimination, Gene. You'll get it. It's aggravating, but I feel like when I say this, people don't particularly listen, but I am telling you, I have seen many. Well, yeah, Jason, get a sniffer trace. Ignore Jason. He knows how to do this stuff.
He's got a sniffer.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. But I'm telling you, do not underestimate or discount the idea that there is a problem with your internet service. Time Warner, depending on your community, depending on your neighborhood, whenever they rolled out HDTV, when they rolled out DOCSIS 3.0, they used a lot of the old facilities, a lot of the same wires. Some of that stuff in our community has been there for many years now. They can fix it. They have to fix it. You have to stay on them, but they will fix it. The problem is you need to be able to demonstrate the problem. You need to be able to say it happened at this time. And for gosh sakes, you really need to make sure that it's not your equipment causing the problem. But learn to ping, learn to trace route, run ping plotter, learn to identify when it's happening and why it's happening. But, I mean, I keep saying this, and I'm concerned that I might jinx myself, but my internet at home is rock solid. You may recall, Amnon, when we first started doing this show, I mean, you had internet issues. Yep. I had internet issues. Mine turned out to be a couple of things. One, that even though I was using a dual, what do they call it? What's the dual computer? Dual quad. They call it a dual quad.
Core 2.
Core 2 duo. No, it's one above that.
Core 2 quad.
Core 2 quad. Okay. I was using that, and still it was not performing up to spec for Skype. It was not until I got an i7 that all of my Skype problems went away as far as them being my fault were concerned. You got to have a good computer, but once process of elimination, you eliminate all those things, then you start nailing down Time Warner, and I could demonstrate to them, here's where the problem is, and to their credit, I mean, we dog on them all the time. But once you get past their first line of quote-unquote support, once you get to someone who really knows what the Internet is and how to make a coaxial cable, they can fix it. And not only can they will. You just have to be their their nightmare.
I mean, they want to fix it. They want everything to work so people will not bother them. But some of these problems are beyond them.
Well, I've told this, Amnon. We kept having a problem with our DVR. We're on our 10th DVR, which, by the way, they've changed the firmware in the Time Warner DVRs. It used to be that whenever you would hit the scan to jump ahead during commercials, when you stopped the scan, the video marker would jump back about 5 or 10 seconds so that...
I never had a DVR, so I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm telling people who have one. It would jump back about 5 or 10 seconds so that, obviously, when you're winding past it, you jump past the start point. Well, they've taken that feature out of there. Now when you're winding fast and the show starts, you hit the stop button to stop the fast scan. Now you have to hit the rewind button to get back to the starting point. I think they did it to be annoying. My daughter has DirecTV, and she's just blown away by it. She says that the hard drive is so large on the DVR that the most she's been able to fill up is 10%, and she fills ours up to 90%. So we're going to be looking at that. But anyway, the point of the story I was telling is that we kept having problem after problem with DVR. They kept saying, oh, it's the signal, oh, it's that. Finally, the supervisor came out there and brought a time domain reflectometer that he installed at the street. Now, this is a very expensive piece of equipment, but he found out there was a pinch in the coaxial cable where it entered the house, entered the crawl space, and went under the house. And rather than running a new cable, he said, can we put a spliced box on the side of your house? I said, absolutely. It's not going to be visible. It's not a big deal. They put a box there. They came into a connector. They cut out the bad spot, put it in there, and that particular problem has not resurfaced. They had, in my opinion, been out there chasing that problem at least 5 trips. They had been trying to solve that problem, not knowing what it was, until I dogged on them long enough that they finally brought out the right equipment. So if you're having a problem, you need to do the same thing, Jason.
Yeah, you have to keep talking at them. Keep bothering them.
You hear that, Nick?
No.
You need to stay on them until they get it fixed. Have they ever? Nick's been having terrible problems. Have they improved any?
With Time Warner?
Yes.
No.
Have you called them every day?
Not every day. I call them. I try to call them at least once a week.
And what do they do when you call them?
Yep, they reset the modem. It's fixed for a few hours and then it goes back again.
Yeah, I believe you have either. Which modem are you using?
The UB.
Oh, well, never mind. Go get an SB6141 DOCSIS 3.0 Motorola to get your own. They're charging you like $4 or $5 a month for the modem.
I'm not for it.
Were they charging you?
They never did.
I know. They never charged me because when
I don't know
took
if
it
they're charging
back,
me. Let me look at my bill.
and I said, okay, here it is. Now I want to get the credit. He looked and said, you weren't charged.
Yeah, we did it early. We did it when they were warning us.
I didn't give it to them.
Oh, you didn't give them the modem?
Nope. I said, oh, okay, well, then I'm keeping it.
Oh, okay. I would rather them hold on to it.
And everybody got 8.1? Anybody got 8.1?
Windows 8.1.
Windows 8.1. I know that Brian did it. Brian Aldridge did it. I don't know if anybody else did it.
I haven't.
those of you who are using 8.1, Windows 8, did you upgrade to 8.1?
Steve, aren't you using Windows 8?
Steve, wake up.
I think he fell asleep.
Oh, actually, Steve's gone.
Oh, well, I think Steve was using Windows 8.
What happened? Yeah, he was.
Jason says get a Cisco CRS-1, and I ask how much. He hasn't replied yet. I bet they're not $69.
That's a Linksys probably.
I don't know. I asked him. We'll see. Steve says he's back now. Steve, are you using Windows 8? $80,150. Okay, we'll order one.
He might just be in chat. He might have not called back in yet.
System problem. Well, he'll call back in when he's ready.
Well, Jason answered you.
I know. I'm watching.
Steve, you're not back on Skype. You know that, though.
You know what? Jason wasn't joking. They really are $80,150. But will they drop a connection? Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. There's a 2% cash discount code.
Oh, okay. So if you pay cash.
Yeah. Or check out with PayPal.
Oh, there you go. Mike, will you order me one?
Yeah, okay. I have to use Andrew's Amazon affiliate link, though.
Oh, no, use Nick's.
No, I can't use Nick's if they're going to ship it to Nick.
Oh.
That's actually not true. I've used my own affiliate.
You're not supposed to be able to do that.
I didn't try to do it on purpose. I was
right. It did it by itself, right?
No, but let me finish, Mike, before you attack me.
Hurry up.
When I was setting up the link on my website, the little sidebar banner, I clicked on the sidebar banner and it just brings you to my Amazon thing. And then, like 2 days after I bought something, I got credit for it. I didn't click on the item. I just had clicked on the link to make sure it worked. And then, however long later, I got credit for it. I mean, I didn't send myself a link to buy it. I just had it cached my Amazon tag or whatever it's called.
Welcome back, Steve. What happened?
Thank you. I wish there was a computer show online somewhere that I could call into to find out what the hell's going on with my machine.
Oh. Okay.
This is Computer 2k now.
Computers 2k now. That sounds like a really good and helpful show. Perhaps I ought to call into that one.
Nobody said anything about Mike's shot.
I saw the background. I laughed when I saw it. He's in the server room too, right next to Amnon.
That's why there's so much noise.
Ah. What internet connection are you using in the server room?
Apparently Time Warner.
That's a problem.
We have no choice.
Yeah, what are we going to do? Dan?
Well, you're in a data center. What do you mean you have no choice?
Yeah, but he operates it off of a 5 megabit Time Warner home connection. Times are tight, Nick. Come on.
How many servers are you running off that
50?
5 megabit? There you go.
Rows and rows.
Those are very differing data centers. You guys on opposite sides of the center?
Yeah, I'm inside.
I'm on the other side of the server room.
Yeah.
Hopefully you haven't got any pommes frites, otherwise you'll be saying pass the salt and sliding it down that big long table.
No.
There's no food in the data center.
I'm not getting ready to ask when the caterer's supposed to be here.
I think I'm going to stick him in the back room somewhere.
Oh.
He'll be better off there.
Dan was saying that his Time Warner 20 meg drop to 10 required a new coax run from the junction box underground and underneath my driveway to the house hub. I'm telling you, a lot of these, if they've been in the ground for 10 years, some of these things have really deteriorated depending on the soil and so forth.
Yeah, we had to get that done here too.
I mean, that's their problem. But I'm very sincere when I say you really should do your own homework and make sure the problem is not in your equipment, because it can happen. I mean, it's Jason, I'm sure, will particularly attest to this, that the equipment that we're using, it's amazing for what it does, but it is very much consumer-grade equipment, from the computers to the routers to the modems. It's all consumer-grade stuff. It does not hold a candle to the commercial-grade equipment that Amnon uses in the server center and in the Cisco routers that the data centers use and the Google things. I mean, it's for what it does, it does a great job. But the bottom line is that it does have a high propensity to decline in performance and to fail. So make sure your nose is clean before you start harassing them. And it really doesn't take that long once you start focusing on it.
By the way, the data center, I do not have one piece of equipment from Cisco.
Why?
Because I like Nortel better.
Yeah, but doesn't the data center provide you
the data center, TW Telecom.
Yes.
They use Cisco. Cisco, and the other one, what is that? I'm thinking about a female's name.
I don't know.
It's a long name.
I don't know.
Juniper.
I'm not into all that stuff.
Anyway.
Jason would know.
But was TW Telecom around before Time Warner?
The what?
Was TW Telecom around before Time Warner?
No, they started as part of Time Warner Telecom.
Ah, okay.
And then they split.
Yeah, because it's confusing.
Mike says it's Juniper.
Juniper.
That's a girl's name?
Well, I'm Jennifer. I'm thinking, something stuck in my mind. Like,
what'd you name your daughter? Juniper?
A flower.
There is a TW Telecom. There's two TW Telecoms here.
No, there's only one TW Telecom.
They might have multiple divisions.
There's two... No, I mean like two office or two data centers here.
They probably have a ton of data
there
centers.
There are 3 of them here.
Yeah.
Actually.
There's two
maybe
here.
2. 2, you're right.
One's at the IT Institute in Albany.
That's not where my stuff is. My stuff is on Highwoods, if you're looking at it. But yesterday evening, while I was preparing, I was reading this, and Nick wasn't there. So when Nick came back, I said, Nick, what was that story I read? Something about headset from Xbox 3 doesn't work on Xbox 4. And he started laughing, and he said, what?
Uh-oh.
And I mean, how much do I know about Xbox? He said, Amnon, it's Xbox One and Xbox 360. There's no 3 and 4. I know.
Couldn't prove it by me.
But here it is. It says, until now, Sony has done a pretty good job of keeping future PlayStation 4 owners happy. But last week, they finally hit a rock. Oh, I guess when Game Informer, is that the one you were talking about?
Yeah, that's a gaming site.
Posted an article about headset compatibility. At launch, USB headsets that work with the PS3 won't work with the PS4. Well, there it is. It says PS3, PS4.
Yeah, that's not the Xbox.
Oh, so they're called the same thing? It's a PS...
Oh, well, those are two different
brands. Okay. Xbox is Microsoft. PS2, 3, 4 is...
Sony.
But...
They're two different things.
Is there a PS1 for Microsoft?
No.
No, that's PlayStation. That's Sony.
Sony does all the PlayStations. Microsoft...
What is the... Oh, it's... Xbox. All right, never mind. Sony says that eventually there will be a system update that addresses the problem, but for now, even your Sony-branded USB headset won't work.
Yes, and the big thing... So the reason that this is a big deal is on the current PlayStation 3, which is developed by Sony, you use Bluetooth to chat online with...
They're saying that Bluetooth would even be worse.
Well, that's where the thing is. Currently, on the current one that came out in 2007... You use Bluetooth to chat. You use a Bluetooth, those little in-ear dongles that you would use, to talk on the phone or whatever. You use those on the current PlayStation 3. But on the PlayStation 4, they've gotten rid of that feature, and now they're going back to wired adapters. And that's what's pissing everybody off, is got this technology that they could improve on to make it better so that you don't have all these wires. And now they're saying, well no, screw that. Now we're just going to go and we're going to give you, you're going to have to plug in your computer or your headset to your controller to your PlayStation, which is kind of stupid if you ask me.
Yeah, they're saying that there are no updates. No updates is update is planned to address this.
We'll have to see what happens
that
once
IT
they
World
release.
Peter Smith is shedding a tear for his $250 Turtle Beach PX5 headset.
Yeah, I have a $200 headset that I'm not going to be able to use either.
Just that what I mean. That's bad.
No $250 headsets for this fat boy.
This is a gaming headset.
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't game.
Oh, well, you don't have to game. This is a really nice headset.
I don't need nice headset. I want to listen to audio. Listen to it through speakers.
What is special? What is special about it?
Okay,
They're white.
They're sound canceling. They work with the controller. They have a good microphone, and they're wireless. You can't just use any headset on the Xbox. You have to use one that's got the adapter to hook up to the controller.
Okay.
You just can't use anything. And these things are probably 5 years old.
Do they only do them in horrible white?
Nope, they have black.
Oh, okay. So what on earth made you choose white?
Because the Xbox controllers are white, so they go together, I guess.
You fashion geek.
It's like Apple.
At the time when I didn't buy them, so.
Well, that's different if you were given them as a gift.
Yeah, they were good.
Have much choice. Although I would have thumped the person that gave them to me.
I have too many other black wires and headsets. They stick out, which is nice.
Do you normally pull the curtains when you play games, though, so no one can see you from outside?
No.
Oh,
I don't think
I would.
They can see me anyway.
Anyone see me wear them, I think, oh dear, he's definitely flipped.
Every somewhat serious gamer has a headset very similar to that.
I can imagine. Yeah, it's the gamers of today do seem to be considerably different than what they were when I was younger playing games.
Oh, it's so competitive now. I was watching. I was watching some competitive matches last night, and the prize money is just unbelievable. I mean, you're talking $50,000 to the winning team. These people are playing $60 video games. It's unbelievable.
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, guess what, guys? Microsoft will officially retire its Windows XP operating system early next year. But
finally.
But
But
Google on Wednesday announced it will continue to support its Chrome browser for the platform through at least early 2015. The Mountain View, California web giant announced it will keep sending out updates and security patches to the Windows XP version of Google Chrome until at least April 2015. Well, we know people that still use it 2000, right?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
And it works.
And it works. So XP is going to be working for many years to come.
They only want a few rather large major players that refuse, and they'll go, oh, well, we'll just extend it a little bit more then.
And maybe they will.
Look, I understand. How XP is what, 12 years old?
Yeah, there-ish.
So, I mean, I understand them wanting to get rid of it, and so long as they don't do like Twitter did and do something to disable the operating system, if they choose not to continue to provide free updates 13 years after they release it,
That's fine.
I don't have a problem with that.
Right? You take your chances.
No, the thing is that I actually had, and the reason I'm not as adamant about it as I might have been 2 months ago, is a buddy of mine brought me a laptop computer, a Pentium M laptop computer with 500 megabits of memory in it. This thing was dog slow. He had installed Windows 7 on it. with all the OEM drivers. And he said, I need this thing to be faster. It's my backup computer. I really want to use it that much, but I need it in an Armageddon situation when I do my remote performances. I said, okay. Well, he only had a half a gig of memory in it. The maximum for the motherboard was 2 gigs, so I put 2 gig of memory in it, and went in and did all the updates, cleaned it up, got rid of the stuff that did not need to start. I got to tell you, it's pretty snappy. In my experience so far, Windows 7 on that computer is operating as well as XP did on that computer, and that meets his needs. So
and that's all that matters.
I'd have to agree with you. I mean, the system I'm using here, which is running on the, through the TV, it's, I'm just having a look now, it's Pentium 4 3.2 gigahertz, 3 gigabytes of RAM, and Windows 7. So, it struggles a bit when you're trying to run a video like we're doing now with through whichever browser, whether it's Chrome or whether it's Opera, Internet Explorer, whatever. Running the show and then also Skype. It's creaming the processor. It's running at 100% for the vast majority of the time. But as long as I don't try and open something else, it doesn't lock up, which is what it did just now. Because when you can cope with this as well, can't you? And it went, no, help me, I can't do this. And it just went, bleh.
Right.
So I had to switch it off.
But the question, though, Steve, is not, would it not have done the same under XP?
Yes, it would.
And the one benefit that Windows 7 64 has is that if your old computer can go up higher than 4 gig of memory, in fact, I did this recently. I had my son's girlfriend's computer is a Lenovo laptop. The buttons were broken on it. I mean, it just looked like it had been through it. And I took it. I've had it a year, so I decided to go through it and tried to see what I could do just out of curiosity to modernize it. And what I did was I got the parts. I bought the parts off eBay, got all the keys and everything put back together, got rid of the cracked case. It's one I was aggravated with. I put a solid-state drive in it and upgraded the memory to the maximum the motherboard would handle. So here this dual-core computer is now a quite snappy little computer. It's usable. It's not an i7, but it's usable. There are things that you can do to get the most out of your old computers, and I tend to do that. In fact, I can't remember what I talked about because I talk so much, but I actually, at Rick's house, when I was there, I picked up a desktop computer that turned out to be a Pentium 4. He only used it for a very limited number of things for his business account. He said, yeah, if you can get it going, get it going. If not, don't worry about it. I can get the stuff off the hard drive. The hard drive was in good shape. I said, all right, let's see what we can do with it. Went through it, started trying to clean it up, noticed that the processor, the heatsink was clogged with dirt. Went in there and looked again and found 9 bad caps on the motherboard. 9 bad electrolytic capacitors with the bulging tops and the gook sticking out of them. I actually went in and replaced all 9 of those capacitors and then put the thing back together. Believe it or not, it works. Went through, did all the updates, all the cleanup, got rid of all the junk, and now the computer is as snappy as it would have been the day it was new with XP. And he'll probably get another year out of it. And then he can do whatever he wants to do with it.
You were having fun, but in reality, if you took it somewhere to have it done, it's not worth it.
There's no way in the world you could afford to pay someone to do what I do to computers.
Right.
Not a chance.
It's cost prohibitive, isn't it? That's what I did with this one. It was running at XP, and it was running at XP okay, but, blue screens of death and things. Since putting Windows 7 Home Premium on it, I think the RAM was already 3 gig, if I remember rightly, and an SSD. It is nice and zippy. It's just, you can't expect it to do 5 different tasks running in the background doing whatever it's doing. It's okay to do 1 or 2, but, you can't push too much at it. Whereas with one of these new Pentium I processors, it will handle 10 things once.
And that's where I'm gravitating now because I've got an i7 at home I don't even use. It's still kind of sitting over in the corner. I will tell you that today I'm going to at least hook it up and update it because it hadn't been updated in probably 3 months. But what I'm doing, I've got a dual quad, I guess we called it, that I'm going to give to my brother. He's still using a Pentium 4 for one of his, so I'm going to give that to him. He doesn't know it yet. But because it's pretty snappy. I mean, for non-media stuff, it's a great computer. I mean, it's better than a dual core, and you can still go to the computer store today and buy a dual core.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it's got updated memory and a Windows 7 64-bit and all that, so it'll serve him for quite a while. But and I'm going to put the i7 eventually in its place. And I've got an XP machine that I'm going to retire and probably put a second XP machine in its place. But what I'm getting to is I'm actually going to, and this is what Nick does with his setup, I'm actually going to try to reduce the number of computers that I use and increase the number of monitors. Because now when I do Rick's house, I'm using 4 computers to produce the show. And in fact, 2 would be perfectly fine if I had enough monitors. I have to be able to see what I'm doing. This, like I'm sitting here looking now, and on these 2 monitors are on the same computer, right? So at my house, they would be 2 different computers. But there is some benefit to being able to drag and drop things and segregate it. But I'm actually probably going to end up with 4 monitors on the i7, and since I use the Delta 1010 LT sound card, I have 5 stereo in-out channels on that computer, which I could actually run. You know, you guys were talking about Skypezilla and what did Joe call his? Leo calls it Skyposaurus.
Skyposaurus.
Did you know you could take one i7 with a 1010 LT sound card, run Skyposaurus on one computer?
It's not really Skyposaurus if you can't have it all on 4 different monitors, though.
But that's the problem.
Well, I understand. Well, is it?
For what we do, it's
a
problem. Because the whole idea behind the Skyposaurus is to be able to get
the full screen video.
To get a video with a capture card to come out and come into your switching machine.
Right. It would not be, I mean, Andrew would have a heart attack. It would not be HD. But for this show, I mean, if you think about it, you could do one i7 computer. We won't get into all that. But you could get the video large enough, like you're capturing Nick's video now, with a larger monitor there with 4 on it. You could do fine.
He's showing you his setup.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
So this is what Mike was.
You need to switch to it.
I can't even see my own video. Hold on. Over here. So this is what Mike was talking about. I've got 2 monitors here mounted, and then I've got one up here, and then a TV across the room that are all connected to just this one computer.
So all those monitors are on one computer.
Yep, and I have one behind me, which is just connected to a laptop for showing pictures
background
and stuff like that. Yeah. But it can definitely be done. So I make 2 computers. I have a laptop that powers this monitor, and all my other monitors are powered by just my main desktop.
Which is?
An AMD 8 core.
The computers now have enough power to run many functions in multiple monitors. Yeah, obviously it's a more challenge when you're doing things like Wirecast and VidBlaster on the computer, but other than that, you can get these computers are powerful enough to do a lot at one time.
Yeah, I mean, I do my show every week with really just only one computer.
On the radar.net.
On the radar.net.
No. Radar Gaming. The name of the show is On the Radar.
I get on the radar.net. Let's take a look.
It's radargaming.net.
When you produced Rick's show, how many computers did you use?
Let's see. I used this one, and I used one other one.
So you did it with 2.
I did it with 2, yeah. No, maybe 3.
I'm thinking it was 3 because I used 4. I
remember that one of the computers was having an issue with the sound card, so I couldn't use that one. But it was 2 or 3. One was a desktop, and the other 2 were just dual-core laptops. And
it's not as easy as it looks, is it?
To be honest, I thought it was going to be a lot tougher to run and figure out what everything was going on and what button is which and all that. And after I did like a few days of testing with it and stuff like that, and it worked pretty well. It really wasn't as bad.
It did work good.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Though.
Yeah,
you had a good teacher.
A lot of it is preparation and getting your head around which button and which computer is handling which bit.
Yeah,
and it's just hitting the right thing at the right time, really, isn't it?
If I woke up the morning and Mike said, "Hey Nick, just run Rick's house," there you go.
Yeah, go for it.
It wouldn't have to
scream. And Nick also does Roku apps. He develops Roku apps. He installs and maintains WordPress sites.
And on this Roku thing, if you're watching this show and you are an internet broadcaster and you don't have a Roku app, you can probably double your viewership just by having a Roku app based on a personal experience. I can't prove it to you, but
I can.
I can too.
Well, I can't. I don't have that information, but I just know what we've watched with happen with Andrew, what we've watched with Nick's show, with our show. There are people that want to be able to watch content on Roku, and you got to have an app to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Without going really too detailed into it, because this is the one thing that people always argue. Roku is still a very early platform. Regular people that aren't into technology don't know what a Roku is. They have no concept of it. They've never heard of it. So people tend to argue against the fact that it can actually, boost your numbers or whatever else. I mean, previously on my podcast, before my Roku app, I would get maybe at most 200 downloads a month for the one show, and I'd do 2 or 3 shows a month. And now, looking at this month, it's October 19th when my stats were updated. I have over 1,000 downloads, and they're almost all from Roku. So it's definitely it's an early platform, but people are there and people are watching.
Okay, but how do the downloads transfer into viewership?
I've seen the unique viewers have slowly gone up, which was at the beginning. It was this huge burst of traffic. Let's say 1,000 downloads, right? You were getting this huge burst of 1,000 downloads, and great that people are watching, but will they come back? And slowly over time, I think I've had the app in the store, I don't know, maybe 3 months now. Maybe that's a little bit too long. Maybe less than that. But now, each and every week I'm producing the show, I'm seeing the unique repeats go up, which means they've already watched either a previous show that month, or they had watched another show that month as well. So the unique repeats are going up, and the views are still going up. So with every view, there's a few unique repeats that are going up, which means people are coming back, which is nice.
Well, now you say they're coming back. Is that to the live show or to the podcast downloads, or both?
I believe they're coming back to the podcast downloads because my app doesn't have the feature of live.
I see.
And actually, my first app, or an app that I created for Stephen Haywood from the Tech Buzz, his app just recently hit 10,000 downloads. So the people are definitely there.
All right. So now this is interesting to me. How do Roku users know what apps are now available? That is, I mean, Stephen has hit 10,000 downloads pretty darn quickly. Now he's in a lot of places, been doing it a long time. But I don't recall Stephen promoting the Roku app on his show. If he is, he's not doing it very much. How is the average person who's downloading his show, how are they finding out about the Roku app?
Give me 1 second. Let me go set up my Roku. Hold on.
All right.
Roku's also available over here now. It seems to be taking off big time.
And in what regards? I mean, are they advertising there, or how are you becoming acquainted with it over there?
Well, there was an advertisement that went through. Sorry, not advertisement. There was a write-up about it on Engadget, Engadget.com, and there seemed to be an awful lot of people from the UK saying, "Oh, great, about time." And if you look at the Roku site for the UK, I think it's roku.com/UK. You can get BBC iPlayer, and it really is a well thought out package that you're actually getting when you buy the Roku itself. Roku 3 certainly.
Yeah,
I've not been tempted myself yet, but it definitely looks like it's the way forward as far as content delivery goes on a little box.
Well, Roku's an interesting thing. When you look at, even though we're techies, when you look at it, you'd say, why do I need that? Why do I need another box? Isn't this just another way of doing the same thing? But it's a lot about the experience. The remote controls, the Roku, at least the ones I have, and I think they all are, have Bluetooth remote controls. They have the best remote control in the industry. You can...
That's fact.
I would pay $50 extra for a TV or a device to have this remote. I would pay the price of a Roku just to have this remote control added to an existing piece of equipment that I have. You don't have to point it at anything. You can, if you're watching TV and it's cold in the Roku, but if you're using the Roku watching TV, for example, and I don't know, for whatever reason it's cold under the covers, you just jump under the covers. You can have the remote control in your hand under the cover because it's not line of sight. It doesn't matter. It's Bluetooth, and I mean this thing, the buttons are extremely responsive. It's like a Mac. It just works.
And for the listeners, it just came exactly at that particular time. We're talking about Roku, by the way.
Yes.
If you should happen to have caught under the covers and
Yes.
remote. Yes, we're talking about the Roku.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Steve, for that. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. I'm tempted, I must admit. I don't generally watch TV, but because you've got so much extra that is available, and certainly with BBC iPlayer and catch-up TV, it just seems to be, when you compare it to the Western Digital device and other devices, it does seem to be the one at the top of the tree at the moment.
Well, I have a question that actually brings up a point that I don't know the answer to, and Nick has walked away again. I'm wondering if there are geographic or territorial restrictions on Roku programming.
Well, you can guarantee it. I mean, you've got BBC iPlayer for the UK version. That's not going to be available to the US or other European countries. So they are going to have packages that they're able to sign up for different, if you like, continents or countries for, which is just annoying, isn't it?
Well, I'm wondering, for example, if you use the Roku app to watch Computers 2K Now, are there any countries where it would not be available?
Nope.
Because there's nothing, we don't put any restrictions on it.
No. Let me see here. I'm going to have to share my screen because Skype is not liking
switch to Nick.
Skype's not liking the HDMI source in this capture card.
If there's no copyright involved, then I wouldn't have thought there would be any restrictions, but who knows?
Well, there are copyrights involved. We just ignore them.
Yeah, if only it was that easy, eh?
Well, they're inconvenient.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I can't see if I'm sending you my screen or
You
not.
are.
Yes, you are.
And
You
it looks
are, yes.
good. It looks great.
Okay, so Mike, go ahead and ask your question again.
I don't remember what it was.
If there are
Are
any
there
geographical
restrictions?
Oh, I was just asking if there are any geographic restrictions other than, I mean, I know like the BBC does IP blocking and all that, but as far as, I'm asking like if Steve goes and gets a Roku, is he going to find himself being blocked from a lot of the content that we're able to watch here, such as, I could understand him, Netflix, that's a subscription service. Time Warner is local to you. Hulu Plus, they might have their own restrictions, but is he likely to run into a restriction on Twit? Is anyone in the world likely to run into a restriction on the TechBuzz.net app or the Computers 2K Now or one of those?
Well,
Nick-
not on the
Nick-
I mean.
Nick,
Yeah.
if I send you return video here, would you be able to see what you want to see?
I can see it. I can see it on the stream. It looks like you're cutting off the screen though.
It's down at the bottom, but you would be cutting that off, not us, would you?
No, I see it all on my screen when I'm bending it. Looks like you're only capturing fourth. Oh, is this because it's no? Is this considered group video? Still?
Yeah.
Let me call back then on a regular. Let me just hang up and call back without group video. So because I think
Wait a minute. How are you
You're
going to
not
do that?
going to be able to get in
That's not going to work.
why?
because I have to do group video.
Yeah, we
Otherwise,
have
I
to do
have
group
to.
video.
Oh, wait a second. At this
No,
point,
only
no.
called
It's just.
Yeah. because group video is only
just
sending for 3.
That's a good point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I'm not on video. Right. I'm not on Skype.
Your image is definitely a lot sharper in the studio, Mike, compared to what it normally is.
Okay, I should 16.9 now.
You are.
Okay, so
where is this echo?
It's probably because you just started. Nick, talk. Oh,
hello.
Yeah, it is. It's echoing.
It's what?
Try again. We're good.
It's what?
Okay.
All right,
So
let me try this again.
It was amazing to watch your video clear up after you connected on Skype.
Okay, so give me a second here to let the feed catch up. Let's see. Okay, are you seeing my screen?
Yeah, but it's still
hold it
cropped.
a second. This is the whole screen.
That's all we see.
That we're seeing right there.
Oh, no, that's it. That's the whole screen.
Okay.
Okay, so, all right. So the question was about the channel store. So, like Mike, like you said, so Steve originally, when he first got the app, he was the first app I developed. He plugged it a lot. He plugged it almost every single show. So the question was, how do you, or how would you find the app now that he's not talking about it every week?
Well, yes, but that's part of the question. But what I'm saying is, to people who do not have one, who are watching this for the first time and seeing this Roku screen for the first time, this screen we're looking at is what you would see when you first turn on your Roku on your own home TV. And my question is, I mean, obviously there are these standard apps, but
no, I think these are like bookmarks.
Well,
I think these are the bookmarks that you
But your channels, I think they, and this is part of the question, I think they load a default set of channels like
they do,
like the biggies, yeah.
Like this, you have Netflix, Amazon, Vudu, Hulu Plus.
Even if you don't subscribe to Netflix, it's going to have the icon there because those are standard apps. But now this is the part where I'm saying, then we get into the others. But now go ahead and describe what happens and how people then find apps and subscribe to them.
So on the left-hand side here, you see my channels, channel store, search, and settings. So there's a store that's built into the Roku, similar to an app store in either iOS or Android or whatever. And there's all these categories here. So, for example, let's go look for Steven's app. His app, I believe, is under Science and Technology, and there's a whole section here. You can see Twit's here, NASA's here, and on the 1, 2, 3, 4, on the 5th row, there's the TechBuzz Network. So if you go under here, you can see there's GFQ and in my app as well. So depending on what category you're
don't
looking
click
for,
quite so fast because it takes a second for the video to kind of follow you. So click a little slower.
All right. So here are all the apps down here. This is the Science and Technology section on the App Store. There's also Internet TV, which I think Nissan Communications might be under this. Let me take a look here.
I mean, you could spend the rest of your life trying to go through each one of these channels and figure out what each one of them does. And Angie's List TV, Tech Zen TV, that's Mike Myers.
Yeah, there's Tech Zen, Mike Myers. Maybe Nissan Communication. Oh, there it is. There's Nissan Communication. So depending on what you're looking for, there's food apps. And another cool thing is if you have Time Warner Cable as your TV provider, I guess you could say, there is a app for Time Warner Cable, and I'm going to open the app up right quick here. And what that app does is it lets you have access to your TV channels. For example, if you're Roku in a room that doesn't have
local,
not even that. Look, it's not even gonna let me watch it because it says HDCP. Let's see. Yeah, HDCP.
Steve Lee says you have to know that the app is available and to search for it.
Unless you go
Unless you just spend time browsing, looking for stuff to look for. Yeah,
every week or so.
I think that's the answer to my question. I think the answer to my question is a lot of people are finding the app just by sitting there playing with the Roku and seeing something. And they'd say, "What is this? Let me see what this is," and it's the Tech Buzz or Netcast Studio or whatever.
If we took a Roku box and sent it to Steve in England. When he comes up, is he going to see all that?
Yes.
Well, it depends.
He's going to see the standard apps. He's not going to see the Tech Buzz, Netcast Studio.
Why not?
Because those have to be installed. You have to.
No, I understand.
It's like
but he can install them.
Yes, it's like going to the apps store on iOS or Android. AverMedia. Oops. You have to find the channel and then tell it to install. I don't think it's. I think we're at the point now, Nick. You might disagree, but I think we're at the point already where it would be impossible for you to check the content of everything that's out there. There are just so many apps and so many options out there that it would be like trying to go through the app store at iOS. There's like 100,000 applications there.
Yeah, but see, the good thing, though, is if you're interested in podcasting, there's really only one category or two categories that you'd have to look under, and there's not a whole lot of apps, at least under the science and technology. I think there's only like 10 rows of, I think, 3 or 4 apps. So if you know what you're looking for, which would be, a technology podcast,
okay, I think
it's not hard.
I think what I'm trying to ask here, Netflix is not available in Europe the same way that it's here.
They control their distribution.
They control the distribution.
Yes.
Roku is not like that.
Well, no, that's not true.
Well, okay. And I think that's the question we're asking because Roku is the delivery implement or appliance to get it there, and computers 2K now /Bamboozer /Justin TV we do not impose any geographic restrictions on the distribution of the content. But the question is there a separate limitation by virtue of it being delivered by Roku that would not be there if you were accessing it over a computer? I think that's what we're trying to ask.
So the first thing is the Roku is not available everywhere. The Roku 3, which is the one I have that Mike was praising the remote on, it's got a Bluetooth remote.
Oh,
this is the Roku 3.
The 2 has the same one. It just doesn't have the headphone built in. The Roku 3 Amnon, the remote control has a headphone jack built into it.
Yeah, which I'll
sends
show
audio
makes
over.
a lot of sense.
Unbelievable.
Once I turn the video off, I'll put that on.
Keep going, Nick. You were saying.
So, the Roku's distribution is limited. I know that the Roku 3 is not yet available in Canada or the UK.
Never mind available, but what happened if you
smuggle it?
Send it there.
So I sent it there. Steve could hook it up, and depending on the app developer, and this is where it comes down, the app developer gets to choose what stores they go in. If I make the Nissan Communications app only available to United States customers, only people from the U.S. be able to watch it. But
and that's what we were asking. You have that capability of controlling it by country to the extent that feature works.
Yeah, you get this is the options that I have. I have United States, Ireland, Canada, United Kingdom, and rest of the world, and all of my apps are available in all of those places.
And why would somebody put it just and limit it? I mean,
well, for example, I'm working on an app now that's a lot of the content is in French. So I'm not going to make it available.
Why?
They don't want it to be available to everybody. They only want it to be available to people in the United Kingdom and the U.S. They don't want it available to anybody else.
Why?
That's their choice. I have no clue.
Okay,
so
well, that's fine
their
enough.
choice.
Yeah, as long as it's their choice, it makes sense. But, I mean, I would argue that, totally unrelated to this discussion, but I would argue that unless there is a compelling reason to limit the distribution, that it makes no sense.
It depends what type of content you're producing and whether you want advertising revenue and things like that from it. If it's only going to be advertising revenue that's generating or sort of giving you the money to make the programs or whatever it is, then it's pointless if you don't have French adverts to have that all across the world, because it's only going to relate really to people in France.
But you know, Steve, from your talk show days, some of the most frequented rooms or calls on TalkShoe were people in other countries participating in English language rooms strictly to try to learn how to speak the language.
Absolutely.
It had nothing to do with the content. It had to do with the discussion.
Yeah. It was the fact that they could, and it was available, which made them flock.
So we're now looking at last week's?
Yeah, and the interesting thing about the remote, I have the remote connected to my mixer, and I'm going to pop the audio. Tell me if you guys hear this.
All available on this website.
You guys hear that?
Louder.
Very low
A little bit.
low quality audio.
It's very low.
If you need to. But the point of this is that he brought up what everybody's concerned about is security, and even with multi-factor authentication.
And what you heard there was just from the remote over Bluetooth. I have it.
That blows my mind. The fact that they've got an earphone or headphone socket in the remote is what a brilliant idea.
Oh, did you look at it online, Steve? I mean,
I haven't done. No, I didn't know until you mentioned that. I'm going to have a look in a minute. But what a fantastic idea!
See there, Nick was coming out of the Bluetooth remote control with a cable going into the audio input on his mixer. That's what we were listening to.
Yep.
That blows my mind. That is an incredible idea. Such a simple thing, but wow.
I had it disconnected.
My jaw has dropped. I'm speechless.
By the way, how do you control, Nick, just curiosity, how do you control the volume on that headphone?
There's a rocker on the... Let me see if I can... The glare on it.
Yeah,
There's a rocker on the side.
Just like a telephone.
And do you have pretty good signal coming out of it? I mean, could you blow your ears with it?
I was blowing my ears with it here.
Okay, so then the thing here is that if you have someone in the house who's hard of hearing, or like my father had really bad hearing, when he would come over to the house, he would have to turn the TV up so loud we couldn't sleep or do anything. We ended up getting him a one of these wireless headsets that he could crank it up as loud as he needed it. You could do the same thing with this. I mean, the idea of what it was designed for, I think, is to be able to have two people in the room watching TV, and the second person could wear the headphones, and the other person.
That is
not exactly though. It doesn't work like that. The second you plug in the remote headphones, it kills the audio to the TV.
Yes. No, and that's what I'm thinking. Oh, you're saying that in watching in the same room, it would not allow you to do that.
Yeah, like for example, when I'm watching Netflix stuff at night and I have my headphones in, there's no audio coming out of the TV until I unplug the headphones.
So it's just like plugging it in.
Which is fine. They very easily could create an override for that, and that would make it as close to perfect as any app I've seen.
Yeah,
I imagine there's a setting though that would change that. Some PCs will allow you to plug headphones in the front, but still get audio out the back.
Yeah, I mean, there might even be a setting for it. Let me go look in the settings.
It would make sense. It would be.
Yes.
For the situation Mike was saying. I mean, with my father, he's got a hearing aid, and quite often when I'm there, he sat there with the TV blaring away, and his neighbours can hear it. And I'm sort of sitting there thinking, do you really need it that loud, Dad? Could you just turn it down a fraction? Because it's blowing your head.
Take a look. Let's take a look at the settings here. Audio mode. Here we go.
I've been so intrigued watching this. I haven't been watching chat, so if you guys said anything, sorry.
Time Air says headphone in the remote is the best thing since sliced bread. Seriously, which I agree with. It's such a fantastic idea.
But and again, though, the trick is it's Bluetooth, which means it's RF. It's not line of sight like infrared.
Mm. And Bluetooth is used for so many various things anyway. Keyboards and audio devices too. So yeah, why not incorporate that? Brilliant idea.
I don't see a thing in here to do that.
Dan says it's advertised for those that wish to watch a show while others can sleep.
Yeah, and then that's really the whole point of this remote is that you can that's why I use it at night when.
Now how much is the Roku 3? $79?
I believe it's $99.
$99. I mean, if you want to buy a toy, if you're a techie, you want to buy a toy to play with it. If you watch any TV, even if you don't watch TV, I mean, even if. In fact, this is one of the first things I used it for. and that is that if you're one of those people who turns on, for example, Twit and watching, let it stay on all day because of the way Leo goes in and out of his shows, and this stuff between his shows is probably more entertaining than the shows themselves. But that ties up your computer all day long. You're sitting there trying to do other things. You click away from it. With the Roku, if you're in the room with the TV, you can throw Twit up on the TV and let it sit there and run, and then you can still be doing other things, Hangouts, or whatever you want to do on your computer. It frees up your computer.
For those that don't understand, is the Roku is like the Google TV appliance.
Apple TV, Google TV, and so forth. But it's
just like the cable box that you have on top, what we used to call, what we still call, set-top. It's what brings video and audio to your TV.
I mean, look how stunning that looks. I'm not sure if it looks as good through Skype, but I mean, this looks unbelievably
fine. Looks great
clear.
here.
I can read everything.
And what are you doing now? Is you're doing a screen capture of what?
My capture card. I have the AverMedia HD DVR.
All right, so the Roku is delivering the video to your TV, and you're grabbing this from your TV. So we're actually watching.
No, I just unplugged it from my TV and plugged it into my capture card on my desktop.
But what I'm saying is that what we are watching is the output of the Roku box.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Going directly into his capture card.
Right. But
yeah.
See, here's Leo. You can watch this all day long on your TV without tying up your computer.
And that's what I normally do, is because I don't want to, I guess you could say, waste a monitor on my computer.
Right.
Which I kind of am, because my computer's connected to my TV. But it's nice because, it's not like having it full screen, and if you click on another window, sometimes the status bar will pop up or something like that. It's just the Roku. So
well, Nick posted a link to it in Amazon, $79. And I mean, it's
89.
A great, huh?
89.
Okay, well, Eric says 79.
This is an $89.
Okay, version for the Roku 3 is £99.
Wow!
Now, I didn't think you could get it in.
But that includes free healthcare.
No, it is available.
Oh yes, Steve,
and that includes free healthcare. Did you say? Yes,
yes.
Right. Yes.
So you have to be fair.
Yes, you have to mention free healthcare.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So then Eric says you can plug in a USB drive and play videos, or you can plug in a micro SD card. If you're a geek and don't have one, let me say it this way. If you like to watch videos on your computer, if you like to do internet viewing of shows, which many people here who are doing that do,
this is how you
go
type?
buy one.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's not good, but
let's see if there's a Nissan communication.
I mean, for $79, it's not a computer. It does a lot of what a computer does, but it's not intended to be a replacement for your computer.
It's basically a media delivery device, isn't it? It takes the strain off your computer.
It
Nick,
does.
all these have something to do with Nissan in their name?
Yeah, they must have something in their topic.
That should be enough.
Can you plug a USB keyboard into it?
No, you can't. That's something that kind of sucks.
It is, well, no, it doesn't suck. It's a dedicated $79. It's a dedicated device, and you know what happens if they start adding all these additional options? The price is going to go up, and the performance is going to go down.
Yeah, that's true. You can. It's better to have one thing that does a couple of things good, rather than having one thing that does loads of things all crap.
The big limitation for the Roku for me is the internet.
I'll be damned. It's not.
You sit there watching something and it buffers, and that's not the Roku's fault. That's the internet.
Mine's connected to Wi-Fi. Just by the way, it's got Ethernet, but
yes.
I don't use the Ethernet.
It has automatic Wi-Fi built in.
Yep.
You got Wi-Fi built in?
Yes,
it does. Yes.
Oh wow! I'm going to have to have a look at that. Now, I need to replace this computer before I get a Roku.
Why?
You sure you're live on Justin TV right now, Emma?
No, I'm not.
No, we're not.
Oh, well then.
Wait a second. I can in a heartbeat put it on.
If you want to, go ahead.
Now, what are we looking at here, Nick?
This is the So let's get into this. So if you look at the name of this app, it says it's in very small letters. It says unofficial Justin TV.
Okay,
the great
nobody
thing
can
about
read that.
the Roku. What?
Now, I just wanted to reaffirm no one can read that, so you're reading what's written in that upper left-hand corner.
Yeah, it says unofficial Justin TV, and the great thing about the Roku.
Okay, we're on Justin now.
Okay, so the great thing about the Roku is that there are these apps called unofficial channels, private channels, and these apps give you the option to. They're not publicly listed in the store, so if you go to the channel store over here, you won't find unofficial Justin TV, but there's websites out there. I'll post a link in the chat for one that people have developed apps like for Justin TV, like for Twitch TV, and I believe there's a Ustream one as well that they've made private so that it's not in the public app store, so that Roku can't take it down because technically it's not their content. So there's all of these private apps that that you can put in these codes on a website for and get all these apps. And you can look at the list. I just posted the link in chat, but you can see there's a bunch of apps here that you can get unofficially that aren't publicly in the store, but you can still watch, and they'll just go to your device. So let's try this again.
So why did I have to send stuff to Justin for you to do the right search?
You're not live, so there's nothing to watch.
He is now.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it now.
No. Oh, because you are on Justin. I see.
Yeah. What's your channel's name?
I think it's
Nissan Communications,
Nissan Communication or Nissan Com. Let me see.
It might be all together.
See if I can find it. Yeah, it is all together. Let me try this again.
Justin.
I should still be able to find it anyway. Actually, let's do an easier search. Let's try GFQ and see if that shows up.
Justin.
You have to be careful on GFQ. This is a family-safe program.
I'm sorry.
Nissan Communications.
Yeah, it's one word.
Yeah.
Nothing under there either.
Yep. But if you search, this should be good enough to look. I mean, do they want the whole word?
It depends. I don't know. I don't know how they're doing their directory listing, so it might need the exact channel name.
Depending on whether they're doing a fuzzy search.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's try this.
That's it. That's the name of the channel.
There it is. So now I'll see myself typing.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Maybe I will.
To infinity and beyond.
Yeah, there it is. There's the stream. Uh-oh, now we're going to get... Now the channel's going to be loading inside of itself.
The dilithium crystals are going to melt.
Uh-oh.
We're in a loop here.
It started. But so let's see. So we can add that to the favorites there. And then, the next time we want to go watch a show, we can go to favorites and there we go. We'll see Nissan Communications. But you have to be live. That's the real kicker with it.
Steve Lee was the first person to tell me that these set-top box apps were really the next big thing for internet broadcasters. He developed his own apps, as I recall. He's in multiple platforms, and he said it just tremendously improved the viewership of his network.
So here's Sky News. Isn't this UK, Steve?
Sky is UK, as Rupert Murdoch's.
Actually, yeah, here we go. I think we can watch Sky. Yeah, there we go. There's Sky News.
Yeah, I think Sky News is free to view, but any other Sky programs generally are not. But if it's giving you what's available, over the air or over the net for free, then you don't have the restrictions of countries, do you? Providing they haven't programmed in the restrictions.
Yeah.
So you're able to find, if you were trying to brush up on a language that perhaps you before you were going on holiday or something like that, it'd be ideal if you wanted to watch some of the programming to see what's going on in that country and hone your language skills somewhat.
Yeah, for sure. And there's lots of apps in here. You just have to look around. There's even games. Let's see if Angry Birds will load.
Yes, HD Angry Birds, as if it wasn't good enough without that.
Yeah, I've never played this app before. I don't know what it's going to do. Uh-oh, it's telling me my remote is low.
Uh-oh. It'll even tell you. It's even got an indicator there showing you what the battery level is on your remote. Yeah. And by the way...
Oh, boy, I'm not getting a Roku because then Kathy will play this
Angry Birds.
right on the big screen.
You'll never be able to get on it for anything else.
Here we go. We're going to attempt. And this is all Bluetooth, by the way, so I'm pointing this at my monitor, and the Roku's across the room.
Mm-hmm. How far is it designed to go?
I walked downstairs one story to the living room and had no issue with it.
As I recall, the spec on Bluetooth is either 20 feet or 60 feet. There are two versions of Bluetooth, and apparently this is the second one because it's powerful. I mean, it's amazing.
I think it depends on
so
line
right
of
now
sight.
I'm dragging my remote across, and let's see if we can hit this guy. There we go.
Wow,
this is all with
good shot.
This is all with Bluetooth here.
It's almost like you've done this before.
I have never played it on the Roku before. I'll tell you that much. Let's see if we can try another level.
So now we're going to have...
Get in front of the mic.
Now we're going to have a Chromecast hanging. We're going to have a Roku hanging out there. What is the Roku go? I'm sure it goes HDMI, right?
Yeah, this is what I'm connected. I connected it via HDMI.
Into your AverMedia capture card?
No, I mean to the TV, to normal
right,
people.
But you're bringing this in on the AverMedia, aren't you?
Yeah, but I mean, I connected to my TV via HDMI as well.
Right.
So since Nick is so good at all that kind of stuff,
right.
I don't understand. I really don't understand you, Steve.
And if you would like to have your own Roku app, it's CraigDigitalDesigns.com.
Why? I mean, listen to this. It looks like nobody is quite sure how long it's going to take to fix the health insurance marketplace website. One person familiar with the system development said that the project was now roughly 70% on the way toward operating properly. But that prediction
That's like
varied.
being 99% pregnant, isn't it?
Prediction varied on when the remaining 30% would be done. I've heard as little as 2 weeks or as much as a couple of months, that person said. Others warned that the fixes themselves were creating new problems.
No kidding.
And said that the full extent of the problem might not be known because so many consumers have been stymied at the first step in the application process. Nick, you need to send a spam message to the White House and say, I can fix it.
Yeah,
I know.
And you want $500 million.
No, 700.
700?
Yeah,
no, they already paid 700.
I know, don't undersell yourself.
Okay.
Is it running WordPress?
Probably not.
I feel like somebody told me it was running some CMS, though.
Somebody said it was Drupal.
Yeah, Drupal.
If it was Drupal, I know Drupal. I could figure it out.
Well, but could you do it for $700 million?
No, I don't think 700 million is enough. I mean, it really costs that much to make a website.
You go and you hire the best programmers in the world. A whole slew of...
You could buy every development company in the United States for that.
Yep.
Now the Nissan the Computers 2K Now blog that I built for Amnon that was like 3 or 4 million, right? Just to build the blog.
Shh, don't tell them.
I want to switch.
Yeah, I'll stop playing Angry Birds.
No, you can play all you want to.
I'm addicted now.
Yep. It's Amnon's fault.
Yep.
Yeah. So, like we said, Nick does Roku apps, WordPress installations, and maintenance. I mean, I had a problem with the WordPress with the blog on Computers 2K Now, where there were some we were getting bogus registration that people got through the security there. That was like, what is something plus 2 is 9, so you had to put 7. And somebody apparently some machine figured it out. So I just mentioned. I mean, it wasn't a big deal, but I mentioned it to Nick. And he said, "Oh, okay, let's fix it." I mean, a minute later, said, "Okay, we put something new in there," and since then there was nothing. So this is the type of stuff that Nick
and in that regard, this is what a lot of people do not understand when it comes to having a website, particularly if it's interactive. You can't just throw it up there and forget about it. You have to maintain it. You've got to stay ahead of these rascals.
People don't understand, especially with WordPress and being an ISP. I know it.
That's why there's WordPress updates every week, and you have to apply those updates.
Same thing.
Yeah, they're worse.
And you know what? It's the same problem that Windows versus Mac. With viruses.
It's so prevalent.
Exactly. There are so many out there that when they find out what something happened, when they can damage something, right away they do it all over, and it's because they can do a lot of damage in a short period of time.
I've got accounts on a couple of shared servers that I let some friends host on for free and so forth, and they have WordPress sites. When there's a new one of the two companies, if these people don't upgrade their WordPress sites, they will cancel their account. They say that WordPress is so vulnerable to attack and to being hacked that if you don't apply these security updates, they are not going to allow it to exist on their shared server. If you have your own server, a VPS or whatever, and you want to trash it, that's fine. But if you're going to be on a shared server, you're going to have to stay up to date on it.
We had a problem. One thing that's always absolutely for certain: if there's somewhere that somebody's going to have some fun, there'll be somebody else out there that is going to make it their task to ruin it for them.
We had a problem on RTPNet, the server. I got an email from some provider that said that server took part in a
zombie attack,
DDoS attack, and Jason started looking, and that person was saying, I mean, it was a report like that they did, and it said it's probably a WordPress vulnerable site. So first you go according to what they tell you, and you go in, and Jason ran some problems and said, no, there are 4 vulnerable sites on RTPNet WordPress, this, and this, and these are the reasons. I went ahead and I sent email to each and every one of them. I said, you better upgrade it or we're going to shut it down. Took care of it. It turns out that that's not what it was, but...
Did they update them?
Yeah.
Most people don't know how.
Oh, no, there were 2 of them that did it right away. One did it the next day, and one actually did away with it because there was really no reason for being a WordPress for 5 HTML pages.
Right.
It's just that a lot of people use it because they know that they can...
They don't have to do the design.
It's there, and they can go in and change things, but when it's not changing, you don't need to change it. It's really small stuff. Forget it. It takes too many resources to have it. So they did away with it, and that's what I told them. I said, you don't need to work.
A lot of them. I actually I've got an idea for a site that I wanted to do, and I subsequently found out it's probably not necessary, but I created a site called, let me think of what it is, Manual Warehouse. Mm-hmm. For manuals. I like to keep online copies of my manuals. I registered Manual Warehouse, warehouse.com, which is a WordPress site. And what I do is all I have to do is make a blog post with an attachment, and the manual is there. And it's interesting. I actually was looking at the statistics on that site this morning, and in looking at those, it's interesting to see how many people have downloaded the manuals that I put there. But if you keep reading, it's also interesting to look at how many people have been to the admin login page trying to hack into the site. I mean, that was half the traffic.
Yeah. And it's not people. In many cases, it's machines.
Well,
that are bots that are doing.
I understand, but they're trying to get to that admin login page. I mean, if they guess my passwords, more power to them. Because I use the ones that the cPanel suggests, which is a bunch of garbage like the ones you use.
I think the capture card is acting up.
In what way?
I don't know. I just saw flashes.
Are we still on the air?
Yeah, no, we are.
Okay.
It's fine. It's just that there were flashes over there. Yeah, and you know, that's the first thing that I tell people about doing to a WordPress. When they want to install it, I said, change the name from admin to something else.
Oh, sure.
Because the bots go after admin. So if you change it to admin 1, you're already minimizing your vulnerability. So change it to something else. And in most cases, it just...
About buttermilk.
That's good.
Okay.
I know when I was running my website many years ago, the username that was displayed for everybody else to see, as a username, always was the login name as well. So we got another coders that knew what he was doing to actually code it so that the login name was different to what was displayed. I think there's actually there by standard now, but at the time we were sort of at the forefront of putting that kind of facility into place. But it seems to be more common now. You just have to be one step ahead of the numpties that are trying to break in and ruin it.
People really need to find better things to do with their time.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of people just seem to be very bitter at the fact that other people have fun.
Yeah.
What is
they're not invited. Fun, yeah.
Building websites?
It's one of the 3-letter words that you're allowed to say.
I see.
As in? For instance?
Fun.
Fun.
Yeah, fun is
Just
a 3-letter word that you are allowed to say.
What was it yesterday that Rick was asking if you can say Heine?
Oh, can you say Heine on the air?
He said, can you say Heine on the air?
Sorry, Rascal was supposed to call in today.
Oh, well. Don't hold it against him.
You can say Heine.
Yeah. We were doing a radio show. I mean, terrestrial radio, FCC, and all that stuff. And he says, what was he talking about? He was talking about the shower working. He said you can't go to work with dirty Heine.
Yeah, if the water, if you have to turn the water off because you messed up the valve, then you're gonna have to shut down. And that means you can't go to work with the dirty Heine.
Yeah, we didn't think that was exactly what the radio audience would probably want to hear at the moment.
It's no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a rainbow flash again in Amnon.
Yeah, I know. I see that.
Well, if we can make it 12 more minutes, we'll be okay.
No, I mean, I've seen that before, and I don't know when it's doing it. I need to change the capture card in the machine.
Corrine
That
Drury
blue cherry is not...
has fun at Vision On. I don't know what that means.
I think it's some kind of cryptic code.
Is that some signal to the NSA?
If I start Chrome and go to a Hangout, it'll do it every 2 seconds. It's something to do with video on the machine. With that card, I've got that different card, that Winnov, which looks like a real high-end, still just standard definition. And I need to change it. I just need to find the time to do it.
So, Nick, getting back to this Canon camcorder you were recommending, do you know anybody who has one?
No. Not the exact one.
I tend to look at the customer reviews. Let's see. There are no 1-star reviews. That's good. Let's see what the 2 stars say. The only minus I see is the positioning of the zoom button. It's hard to operate.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
Original Canon batteries with computer chip are very expensive. The unit comes with a charger with a wire extension. It must be plugged into the camera to charge the battery. This is the big minus. You can't charge the second battery while using the camcorder. If you
That's right. My school has $10,000 video cameras, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So.
If you want to get a different charger, the one that comes with the Canon battery, this, let's say, for the past 30 years, it's about $80. Okay. Unit also comes without any memory. Buying memory plus extra charger plus extra battery makes this too expensive. There are a few cameras with better features you can get for around $350, and they come with memory and old-style charger that you stick a battery inside. The setup is a little confusing. It's not good at all in dark places, but for that price, it's okay. It's always interesting if you're going to read these negative comments, make sure you then click on the link in Amazon where it talks about the comments to the comment, because one guy says, how can you give a bad review on accessories that people don't need? It's people like you that waste money on frivolous things. I've not bought an extra battery in the last 20 years of video cameras. My current Sony still holds 2-hour charge after not using it for 4 months. Seriously, cards are cheap these days. Costco sells this camera right now for $220 plus Canon case, a 16-gigabyte card, and a DVD. That's funny. I'm going to Costco now.
Pick one up.
I might do that.
Yeah, so hold on. The person was complaining about SD cards. The guy said the memory is expensive.
Yes.
The SD cards are not expensive at all.
My Sony HDR was $1,500 since HD was still expensive back then, and this is $219 at Costco. How can you complain about memory cards? They are cheap. Do you really want Canon to charge you more for a 4 to 8 gigabyte memory card you will throw out when I have 16 to 64 cards laying around not being used from obsolete equipment?
Yeah, here's a SanDisk 32 gig card for $18 on Amazon.
You know, I've got where I don't even clean them off and reuse them. I just buy a new one.
It looks like a pretty nice camcorder. I might even pick one of these up. The mic in is good. That's something I was looking for.
Well, I tell you what I do. It's risky, but I tell you what I do, and it works well for me. I have a Sony PCM-M10 digital recorder that you can set for either 44.1 or 48 kilohertz bit rate. And when you record audio separately from video, you need to know what the audio with the video is recording on the camera, so you need to check to see if the camera is 41, 44.1 or 48. If you record it separately at the same bit rate, it's pretty trivial to sync up the external audio with the video. I mean, that's the way TV people do it all the time.
Yeah. And I've done that before too, but if you're out somewhere and you want to be able to record directly to the camera, it's nice because that can be a real pain.
Well, what you do is, and we've actually done this, Nick. What you do is you use the internal mic on the camera to get your normal audio, and that allows you to sync the external with the internal. It makes it just a trivial matter to be able to do that.
The only time I've noticed you get issues with that is if you're doing multiple takes, because that now you're stopping both recordings and you're restarting the backup, or if you don't stop the recordings, they're having to cut out all that dead time that you're not
right. The
saying
issue
something.
is you stop the video, but you never stop the audio.
Yeah, and that's where it becomes kind of a pain.
Well,
now you're like, all right, I have to cut 5 minutes off of this. And
well, it depends on what you're doing. And if you're going to produce a video, quite candidly, if you're going to do it from a script, you should record the audio first and then make the video fit it. That's the way it's done in the real world.
We're not in the real world.
You know. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Oh yeah, Eric says high-speed SD cards. Yeah, that's especially if you're going to be recording 1080p. You're not going to want some cheap, no-name SD card that.
Well, I bought an expensive high-speed card for my digital recorder, and it ruined the audio at my daughter's wedding.
You used an SD card for it?
Good point. I think it may have been a compact digital. But it was still the high-grade one recommended by the manufacturer. The audio was fabulous.
You've not managed to sort that out yet, Mike?
Nah, I don't think about it. I get upset.
You were going to email it to me.
That's a different one, Steve. That's the one with the buzz in it.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I'm talking about, the audio was fabulous, but it has 10-second segments of it missing.
Oh, okay.
And I'm quite candid, I haven't been back to it yet. It aggravates me so much. And the video that she got, that the guy who did the video, the one she got is not bad. Because he used shotgun mics in reasonably close proximity, and so it's what she has is as good as what most people get. But I'm never satisfied with that, so I actually had wireless lav mics on the preacher and on the groom going into a separate microphone, and I did actually record the string quartet using my PCM-M10 with the internal mics. It is in stereo, and quite honestly, the audio is so good on that recording that it could probably be released as a CD or I mean, it's just incredible how good the recording is, even with the internal mics. Ultimately, one day, Nick will probably take it all and put it together into a video that's a step up above what she has. But what she has now, she's happy with it. Oh, that's what's important.
Okay, well, I was willing to give it a try if you felt like it, but no, it's no problem.
Well, it's loaded somewhere. I've just got to remember where I uploaded it. If it's on a Dropbox or something somewhere, the link is already there. I had a guy who was helping me with it, and he was a good guy, and he was really, really doing a pretty good job, but then he sent one back, and it was terrible, and another guy did it, and it was even worse, and then he couldn't do it, and then finally he sent me a link back to it saying he'd finally gotten to it, and it just occurred to me during the conversation I never even listened to it or got back with him, so I'm a bad guy in his book.
Listen to this. Fiz.org reports that Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff has announced her government is creating a secure email system to try and shield official communications from spying by the United States and other countries. We need more security on our messages to prevent possible espionage, she said on Twitter, ordering the Federal Data Processing Service, or SERPO, to implement a safe email system throughout their federal government. The move came after Rousseff publicly condemned spying against Brazilian government agencies attributed to the United States and Canada. This is the first step toward extending the privacy and inviolability
Okay.
Of official post, Rousseff said it after bringing her complaints against U.S. intelligence agencies to the United Nations General Assembly last month and canceling a state visit to Washington. She announced that the country will host an international conference on Internet governance in April. It's that whole thing with the NSA, I mean, has such... I think so much damage was done that... And I am for snooping on official stuff to see what's happening, but not just for the sake of snooping.
No, you're not. You're in favor of protecting the safety of the people in this country.
Okay, yes.
By whatever means are necessary.
Right.
As long as those means are not overstepped.
Intruding into... Absolutely.
How it's done is irrelevant.
But at this point, it's gone.
Oh,
I mean, all this...
The question is, do we get to count the NSA in our viewer count?
Yes.
When it's used for nefarious purposes.
One list, right? Who knows?
What are you saying, Steve?
I see. When it's monitoring, it's used for nefarious purposes to get the edge over and above your competitors or other politicians, other countries. It's disgusting.
Well, I mean, look, to snoop in order to protect the country is to put yourself ahead It's almost...
Yeah, but when you're in these sort of G20 conferences and things with other countries trying to negotiate what's best for your country, or the way another country progresses or proceeds, and gets out of being a third world country to a more civilized society, when you're then utilizing the communications and the information you've gained nefariously to get the better over them and take advantage of them, that's totally wrong.
To take advantage, that's bad. But I don't know. I guess I don't know how to explain it. It's just...
I know what you're saying, and I agree wholeheartedly, but unfortunately, people's greed and want for the best for them and to line their pockets it takes precedent, which is wrong.
And then comes the government and say, okay, now you can do this, now do this for us too. Mm. And before you know it, it balloons to so many different violations.
The greed for money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
Well, it's that time.
It's the time again. Yeah, it is. Well, I guess, is there anything else that anybody want to add here?
Speak now or forever hold your silence.
Until next week.
Nick, you going to be available tonight?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay. This evening, I should say.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I need prompts again.
You ought to have it memorized by now, Em.
No, I don't. Don't do it enough.
I'd have thought you'd have had it recorded, so you just hit a button.
No.
I think I have it memorized.
All right, go.
Okay, I know.
You can go.
I'm not sure.
All right.
Speaking of which, one of the funniest things that Jimmy Carter ever did when he was president, or at least when he was fulfilling the role of president, is he was talking to his readiness people in the White House about if the White House were under attack, how quickly could he be secured? They got bunkers way down in the bottom of the White House.
Right.
They said, if we were notified of an attack on the White House, how quickly would I be secured? And they said 5 minutes. He said, go. 25 minutes later, he was secure.
Ooh, that's not good. That's
that
not
darn
good
accountability will get you every time, won't it?
Jeez.
Okay, so that was Gary was using a PowerShot 110 ES. That's a DSLR, I believe.
Is it, Gary?
I don't know. I thought it was. PowerShot 110 ES.
I don't know.
I have to look it up. Anyway, we're going to get out of here, guys.
But for what you need a camera without any bells and whistles and stuff. You need something.
I like bells and whistles.
And I still don't see. I think HD is overblowing it.
Oh,
that's fine.
We have to do HD so people can see.
Yeah, especially when you're doing demos, you need to be able to put that in either 720 or 1080 and be able to really see what's going on. Being able to read the labels.
Oh.
It's almost necessary.
All right. So, good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mag, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9. But you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook by clicking the button on the lower left. Tonight at 8 o'clock, it's Carrie's Psychic Cafe. Tomorrow it is, well, you're going to hear that all here.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communication Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays, 9 a.m. till noon. Carrie's Psychic Cafe with Carrie Silkowski, Sundays, 8 till 9 p.m. Health Inn with Debbie Bruck, Mondays, 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays, 1 till 2 p.m. Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, the second and fourth Wednesday of each month from 7:30 till 8:30 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays, 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by thatvidblasterguy.com, carolinaapparel.com, and deltforce.net.